civilized person. Expecting to achieve a bright future. Those expectations can be actualized with enthusiasm and sincerity in seeking knowledge.
She dreaded going to piano lessons because to my daughter, going to piano lessons
Competitive and professional,
with this sort of
as well as
because it was all
uphold Islamic values as the foundation for building
Because like
civilization.
for a lot of piano
Ways to
students,
expand
to both my daughter and her
creativity and
teacher,
innovation.
her success in piano was measured by how few mistakes she made. Now, at the same time, I noticed that a lot of Malaysians went into English conversations with the same sort of feeling of dread. This sort of feeling
Sierra
that they were
Hidayatullah
gonna be
State
judged
Islamic
by
University
how
of
many
Jakarta
mistakes
was
they
established on 1st June 1957, which is one of the oldest faculties and also has historical value in the development of Islamic education in Indonesia. Faculty of Educational Sciences has 18 study programs, 12 undergraduate study programs, 1 professional study program, 4 master study programs, and 1 doctoral study program. Faculty of Educational Sciences, Sierra Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta also possesses several excellent programs such as International Conference, Green Campus, National Seminar, and Student Exchange. Faculty of Educational Sciences is a distinguished, competitive, professional, technology-based faculty with an international reputation by integrating science, Islam, accumulation of values of tolerance, respect each other and upholding diversity in order to underpin Indonesia EMAS 2045. Students carry out the learning process face-to-face, inside and outside the classroom, online as well as hybrid. In addition, laboratory practicums, field practice, and teaching practice are also conducted nationally and internationally. Students are also involved in collaborative research and community service. Faculty of Educational Sciences provide freedom for all academic community members to express themselves, develop their potential, and expand networking. Faculty of Educational Sciences, Sierra Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta continuously show its existence with various achievements at the national and international levels. These achievements proved that the Faculty of Educational Sciences, Sierra Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta is a global competitive teaching faculty. Faculty of Educational Sciences is a green campus underpinned by safe, comfortable, disabled-friendly infrastructure as well as has numerous sophisticated, modern facilities and integrated with public spaces. Complete facilities to support effective and quality learning process. As an adaptive and inclusive faculty with the development of the times. Faculty of Educational Sciences Sierra Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta interlaces strategic partnerships with various parties nationally and internationally. Cooperation in the form of teaching, research, community service, and student exchanges.
The Faculty of Educational Sciences Sierra Hidayatullah State Islamic University is the biggest faculty in our university. Currently, we have 12 bachelor study programs, 4 master's programs, and 1 doctoral program with more than 6,500 students and 220 faculty members. In line with the university's vision to become an internationally reputable Islamic university that integrates Islam and science, our faculty contributes a key role by preparing future teachers, educational researchers, practitioners, and our younger generation through quality education. Our faculty is a nurturing ground for our graduates who are not only excellent, but also globally competitive, professional, technologically savvy, and skilled with a strong Islamic character. We are committed to preparing the next generations of professionals who will make a significant impact in their respective fields of education.
As one of the reputable Islamic universities in Indonesia, UIN Sierra Hidayatullah Jakarta, through the Faculty of Educational Sciences, seeks to bridge the younger generation worldwide to explore Islamic sciences and teachings. The Faculty of Educational Sciences UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta continuously transforms into a modern, excellent, and competitive education center toward a golden Indonesia 2045. Faculty of Educational Sciences is committed to always being the foremost in developing a curriculum relevant to the dynamic needs of our society. We believe with our education and spirit of progressiveness that the Faculty of Educational Sciences UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta will always be the center for development and headway education in Indonesia.
In this place, all dreams come true. The gate to success is front of you. Success that makes inequality civilized and dignified. Every person possesses an expectation, expecting to be a knowledgeable and civilized person, to achieve a bright future. Those expectations can be actualized with enthusiasm and sincerity in seeking knowledge. Here, a place where hope flows as a struggle to achieve the dreams. A place to establish prospective educators who are excellent, competitive and professional, as well as upholding the principles of Islamic values as the foundation for building civilization. A place to expand creativity and innovation. A place to yield humanistic intellectuals. Here, where all hopes are putted up and all dreams are knitted. Faculty of Educational Sciences, Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta was established on 1st June 1957, which is one of the oldest faculties and also has historical value in the development of Islamic education in Indonesia. Faculty of Educational Sciences has 18 study programs, 12 undergraduate study programs, 1 professional study program, 4 master study programs, and 1 doctoral study program. Faculty of Educational Sciences, Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta also possesses several excellent programs such as International Conference, Green Campus, National Seminar, and Student Exchange. Faculty of Educational Sciences is a distinguished, competitive, professional, technology-based faculty with an international reputation by integrating science, Islam, accumulation of values of tolerance, respect each other and upholding diversity in order to underpin Indonesia EMAS 2045. Students carry out the learning process face-to-face, inside and outside the classroom, online as well as hybrid. In addition, laboratory practicums, field practice, and teaching practice are also conducted nationally and internationally. Students are also involved in collaborative research and community service. Faculty of Educational Sciences provide freedom for all academic community members to express themselves, develop their potential, and expand networking. Faculty of Educational Sciences, Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta continuously show its existence with various achievements at the national and international levels. These achievements proved that the Faculty of Educational Sciences, Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta is a global competitive teaching faculty. Faculty of Educational Sciences is a green campus underpinned by safe, comfortable, disabled-friendly infrastructure as well as has numerous sophisticated, modern facilities and integrated with public spaces. Complete facilities to support effective and quality learning process, as an adaptive and inclusive faculty with the development of the times. Faculty of Educational Sciences Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta interlaces strategic partnerships with various parties nationally and internationally. Cooperation in the form of teaching, research, community service, and student exchanges.
The Faculty of Educational Sciences, Sharif Hidayatullah State Islamic University, is the biggest faculty in our university. Currently, we have 12 bachelor study programs, 4 master's programs, and 1 doctoral program with more than 6,500 students and 220 faculty members. In line with the university's vision to become an internationally reputable Islamic university that integrates Islam and science, our faculty contributes a key role by preparing future teachers, educational researchers, practitioners, and our younger generation through quality education. Our faculty is a nurturing ground for our graduates who are not only excellent, but also globally competitive, professional, technologically savvy, and skilled with a strong Islamic character. We are committed to preparing the next generations of professionals who will make a significant impact in their respective fields of education.
As one of the reputable Islamic universities in Indonesia, UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta, through the Faculty of Educational Sciences, seeks to bridge the younger generation worldwide to explore Islamic sciences and teachings. The Faculty of Educational Sciences UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta continuously transforms into a modern, excellent, and competitive education center toward a golden Indonesia 2045. Faculty of Educational Sciences is committed to always being the foremost in developing a curriculum relevant to the dynamic needs of our society. We believe with our education and spirit of progressiveness that the Faculty of Educational Sciences UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta will always be the center for development and headway education in Indonesia.
In this place, all dreams come true. The gate to success is front of you. Success that makes Indonesia a nation of quality, civilized, and dignified. Every person possesses an expectation, expecting to be a knowledgeable and civilized person, expecting to achieve a bright future. Those expectations can be actualized with enthusiasm and sincerity in seeking knowledge. Here, a place where hope flows as a struggle to achieve the dreams. A place to establish prospective educators who are excellent, competitive, and professional, as well as upholding the principles of Islamic values as the foundation for building civilization. A place to expand creativity and innovation. A place to yield humanistic intellectuals. Here, where all hopes are putted up and all dreams are knitted. Faculty of Educational Sciences, Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta was established on 1st June 1957, which is one of the oldest faculties and also has historical value in the development of Islamic education in Indonesia. Faculty of Educational Sciences has 18 study programs, 12 undergraduate study programs, 1 professional study program, 4 master study programs, and 1 doctoral study program. Faculty of Educational Sciences, Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta also possesses several excellent programs such as International Conference, Green Campus, National Seminar, and Student Exchange. Faculty of Educational Sciences is a distinguished, competitive, professional, technology-based faculty with an international reputation by integrating science, Islam, accumulation of values of tolerance, respect each other, and upholding diversity in order to underpin Indonesia EMAS 2045. Students carry out the learning process face-to-face, inside and outside the classroom, online as well as hybrid. In addition, laboratory practicums, field practice, and teaching practice are also conducted nationally and internationally. Students are also involved in collaborative research and community service. Faculty of Educational Sciences provide freedom for all academic community members to express themselves, develop their potential, and expand networking. Faculty of Educational Sciences, Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta continuously show its existence with various achievements at the national and international levels. These achievements proved that the Faculty of Educational Sciences, Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta is a global competitive teaching faculty. Faculty of Educational Sciences is a green campus underpinned by safe, comfortable, disabled-friendly infrastructure as well as has numerous sophisticated, modern facilities and integrated with public spaces. Complete facilities to support effective and quality learning process. As an adaptive and inclusive faculty with the development of the times. Faculty of Educational Sciences Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta interlaces strategic partnerships with various parties nationally and internationally. Cooperation in the form of teaching, research, community service, and student exchanges.
The Faculty of Educational Sciences Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University is the biggest faculty in our university. Currently, we have 12 bachelor study programs, 4 master's programs, and 1 doctoral program with more than 6,500 students and 220 faculty members. In line with the university's vision to become an internationally reputable Islamic university that integrates Islam and science, our faculty contributes a key role by preparing future teachers, educational researchers, practitioners, and our younger generation through quality education. Our faculty is a nurturing ground for our graduates who are not only excellent, but also globally competitive, professional, technologically savvy, and skilled with a strong Islamic character. We are committed to preparing the next generations of professionals who will make a significant impact in their respective fields of education.
As one of the reputable Islamic universities in Indonesia, UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta, through the Faculty of Educational Sciences, seeks to bridge the younger generation worldwide to explore Islamic sciences and teachings. The Faculty of Educational Sciences UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta continuously transforms into a modern, excellent, and competitive education center toward a golden Indonesia 2045. Faculty of Educational Sciences is committed to always being the foremost in developing a curriculum relevant to the dynamic needs of our society. We believe with our education and spirit of progressiveness that the Faculty of Educational Sciences UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta will always be the center for development and headway education in Indonesia.
In this place, all dreams come true. The gate to success is front of you. Success that makes Indonesia a nation of quality, civilized, and dignified.
Serta kayaknya Bu di ini. Ini kita
Every person possesses an expectation, expecting to be a knowledgeable and civilized person, expecting to achieve a bright future. Those expectations can be acted with sincerity in seeking knowledge. Here, a place where hope flows as a struggle to achieve the dreams. A place to establish prospective educators who are excellent, competitive and professional, as well as upholding the principles of Islamic values as the foundation for building civilization. To expand creativity and innovation. A place to yield humanistic intellectuals. Here, where all hopes are putted up and all dreams limited. Faculty of Educational Sciences, Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta was established on 1st June 1957, which is one of the oldest faculties and also has historical value in the development of Islamic education in Indonesia. Faculty of Educational Sciences has 18 study programs, 12 undergraduate study programs, 1 professional study program, for master study programs, and 1 doctoral study program. Faculty of Educational Sciences, Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta also possesses several excellent programs such as International Conference, Green Campus, National Seminar, and Student Exchange. Faculty of Educational Sciences is a distinguished, competitive, professional, technology-based faculty with an international reputation by integrating science, Islam, accumulation of values of tolerance, respect each other and upholding diversity in order to underpin Indonesia EMAS 2045. Students carry out the learning process face-to-face, inside and outside the classroom, online as well as hybrid. In addition, laboratory practicums, field practice, and teaching practically and internationally. Students are also involved in collaborative research and community service. Faculty of Educational Sciences provide freedom for all academic community members to express themselves, develop their potential and expand networking. Faculty of Educational Sciences, Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta continuously show its existence with various achievements at the national and international levels. These achievements proved that the Faculty of Educational Sciences, Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta is a global competitive teaching faculty. Faculty of Educational Sciences is a green campus underpinned by safe, comfortable, disabled-friendly infrastructure as well as has numerous sophisticated, modern facilities and integrated with public spaces. Complete effective and quality learning process as an adaptive and inclusive faculty with the development of the times. Faculty of Educational Sciences Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University of Jakarta interlaces strategic partnerships with various parties nationally and internationally. Cooperation in the form of teaching, research, community service, and student exchanges.
The Faculty of Educational Sciences, Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University, is the biggest faculty in our university. Currently, we have 12 bachelor study programs, 4 master's programs, and 1 doctoral program with more than 6,500 students and 220 faculty members. In line with the university's vision to become an internationally reputable Islamic university that integrates Islam and science, our faculty contributes a key role by preparing future teachers, educational researchers, practitioners, and our younger generation through quality education. Our faculty is a nurturing ground for our graduates who are not only excellent, but also globally competitive, professional, technologically savvy, and skilled with a strong Islamic character. We are committed to preparing the next generations of professionals who will make a significant impact in their respective fields of education.
As one of the reputable Islamic universities in Indonesia, UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta, through the Faculty of Educational Sciences, seeks to bridge the younger generation worldwide to explore Islamic sciences and teachings. The Faculty of Educational Sciences UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta continuously transforms into a modern, excellent, and competitive education center toward a golden Indonesia 2045. Faculty of Educational Sciences is committed to always being the foremost in developing a curriculum relevant to the dynamic needs of our society. We believe with our education and spirit of progressiveness that the Faculty of Educational Sciences UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta will always be the center for development and headway education in Indonesia.
In this place, all dreams come true. The gate to success is front of you. Success that makes Indonesia a nation of quality, civilized, and dignified.
From Alexander County. In fact, eliminating food, and if convicted, it's
Mama, mama, mama.
Ketik. Selamat pagi.
Hi, good morning, Ibu Jenny.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. What about you? I hope you are doing fine too.
Good, thank you. Yes, it's a very hot day here, but that's that's good.
Okay.
Could I just try the slide set very quickly, or
Yes, please.
could we try the slide set? Yeah, okay, very quickly. I just want to see if when I put this up, and you can see my slides.
Yes, we can see that.
Yeah, it's good.
Can you see my slides?
Yes, we can see that.
Yes. And perfect. And I just want to see that. Okay. And then when I open a website, did the website open?
But we cannot see your face, Jenny. It's dark there.
Very slow. Okay. I'm going to change. Okay. All right. I'm going to change to another. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can see.
Can you see it to change to a different? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to change to a different internet. I don't know, you won't know, but at the moment, in terms of it is already 40 degrees.
Wow.
There are high winds
Wow.
outside, and all the
Stay
bushfires
safe.
are starting.
Where are you in
So
Australia, Jenny?
I'll change to a different internet and come back in. Okay?
Oh, yeah, okay.
In the Blue Mountains, where all the bushfires are. All
In
right,
Blue
so I'll
Mountain.
log out and come back in.
Okay.
Yes. Near,
Okay, see you soon.
near Sydney.
Oh, in
Yes.
Sydney.
Okay, bye.
Wow. Bye. See you soon. Jadi teman-teman memang kayaknya internetnya Jenny agak ini ya, agak
Delay, yes.
iya. Jadi Bu ngomongnya nggak jelas ya, Prof ya. Jadi dia tuh ngomongnya
Iya.
putus-putus. Makanya tadi kayaknya dia realize itu, dia menyadari itu, dan dia katanya mau ganti internet, ganti wifi-nya lah gitu loh. Di Sydney, ya Allah 40 degree tuh gila, itu panas banget tuh. Pengalaman pribadi soalnya
She's
panas
there
banget.
already.
Nah ini Jenny-nya.
Ada yang saya tambah-tambahin soalnya. Udah nggak usah pakai map gitu apa aku di sini tuh. Yuk, bukan di dulu di sana di sini aja. Assalamualaikum.
Miss Zulfa, Pak Siron already in Zoom?
Yes, Bu.
Already, okay. Genius.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the session will begin shortly, so please pay attention. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to the Pre ICEMS 2025, the pre-event of the 10th International Conference on Education and Muslim Societies with the theme Advancing Education and Muslim Societies, Embracing Innovation, Technology, Inclusivity, Islamic Values, and Sustainable Development. This event is organized by the Faculty of Educational Sciences, Syarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University, Jakarta. And it is a great pleasure to have you all joining us today, our distinguished guests, keynote speakers, moderators, and participants, both online and offline. Before we begin, allow me to extend our warmest greeting to Professor Siti Nurul Askia, PhD, the Dean of the Faculty of Educational Sciences, and all the vice dean. We would also like to greet our distinguished speaker today, Ms. Jenny Lewis, MED, Teacher Quality Improvement Advisor at Innovasi, South of Australia, and then Associate Professor Dr. Zuwati Binti Hasim from University of Malaya, Malaysia, and then Prof. Muhammad Sudi, MED, PhD from UIN Jakarta, and then the last is Ms. Dina Rahma Fadila, MSE from UIN Jakarta. And of course, all our respected moderators, lecturer, and beloved participant. Welcome to day one of Pre ICEMS 2025. I'm Haryanti, and I'm honored to serve you as your Master of Ceremony for today's event. Before we continue, let us open our agenda today by reciting Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to begin our program, we will now listen to the opening remark from the head of the committee, Ibu Desmaliza, PhD. Time is yours.
God. Wait a minute. Hilang sudah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, distinguished guests, respected speakers, Honorable Dean of the Faculty of Educational Sciences, Professor Siti Nurul Askia, MSc, PhD, the Vice Dean, Dr. Rianti Herlanti, MPD, our fellow lecturers, participants, and committee members. My name is Desmaliza, PhD, and as the head committee, it is truly an honor and a great pleasure for me on behalf of the organizing committee to welcome you all to the 10th Pre ICEMS 2025 hosted by the Faculty of Educational Sciences, UIN Syarif Hidayatullah, Jakarta. The Pre ICEMS is a prelude or introduction to the upcoming International Conference on Education in Muslim Societies, ICEMS, next year, an important academic forum designed as a preparatory event that helps participants strengthen their academic writing, research skills, and publication quality before presenting at the main ICEMS conference. And this year's theme, Advancing Education in Muslim Societies, Embracing Innovation, Technology, Inclusivity, Islamic Values, and Sustainable Development, reflects our collective commitment to enhancing the quality of education in Muslim societies by integrating innovations, digital technology, inclusivity, and Islamic values towards sustainable development. So we are proud to share this year the Pre ICEMS has received more than 200 abstracts, around 267 from scholars, lecturers, and students around Indonesia. And this impressive number shows a growing enthusiasm and strong academic spirits to contribute to educational discourse in Muslim contexts. And the event is divided into two main parts, the main sessions and the parallel sessions. In the main sessions, we are honored to have two distinguished keynote speakers, Miss Jenny Lewis from Australia, who will speak on deep learning and learning innovations, and Dr. Shafiq Matnoor from the University of Leeds, who will present a topic on Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. And meanwhile, the parallel session will focus on academic writing and publication skills, guided by our outstanding experts and editors from prestigious journals, including Associate Professor Dr. Zwati Miti Hashim, Professor Muhammad Zuhdi MED PhD, Prof. Maila Dinia Husni Rahim PhD, Miss Umi Kolsum PhD, Miss Dina Rahma Fadila MSc, dan Mr. Zikri Rahmat Ramadan MPhis. Through these sessions, we hope participants will gain practical insights and inspiration to improve their academic writing, enhance publication quality, and build research collaboration that contribute meaningfully to the development of education in Muslim societies. Before closing, I would like to express my deepest appreciation and sincere gratitude to entire committee teams, especially to Ms. Yanti. Their dedication, commitment, and hard work from the planning stage to today's implementation have made this event possible. And also, I want to say my thankful for all of participants who can come today, also for my student from doctoral degree program. And finally, I hope this event will be a source of inspirations, collaboration, and continuous learning for all of us. May this pre-ICEMS pave the way for a successful main ICEMS conference and for future innovation in education across Muslim society. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Ibu Desmaliza, PhD, for your kind word and encouraging message. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we are honored to have the Dean of the Faculty of Educational Sciences, Professor Siti Nurul Askia, PhD, to deliver her welcoming remark. To Ibu Nurul, you are pleased to give this.
Thank you very much, the Master of Ceremony. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good morning, everyone. Our distinguished speakers, Ibu Jenny Lewis from Inovasi from South Australia. And also we have Associate Professor Dr. Zwati Hasim from University of Malaya. Also, we have other invited speakers from our campus. We have Professor Muhammad Zuhdi, PhD, and also Ibu Dina Rahmawati, MPD, and all other invited speakers in this pre-international conference on education in Muslim society. And of course, also I'd like to address the head of the committee, Ibu Desmaliza, PhD, and all the committees here. Also, all presenters and participants of this conference. It is with honor and pleasure that we have this pre-international conference on education in Muslim society for, well, this year is the 10th. Organized by our faculty, the Faculty of Educational Sciences, UIN Syarif Hidayatullah, Jakarta. Now, in this 10th year, ICEMS continues to serve as a vital international platform for scholars, educators, and also researchers to engage in meaningful dialogue on key issues affecting education in Muslim society. As we have heard before from Ibu Desmaliza, this year's theme, Advancing Education in Muslim Societies, Embracing Innovation, Technology, Inclusivity, Islamic Values, and Sustainable Development, reflects our collective aspirations to build educational systems that are forward-looking, inclusive, and grounded in ethical and spiritual values. We are pleased to host series of conference activities, including sessions featuring distinguished international speakers, as well as focused workshops aimed at equipping both students and lecturers with essential skills in academic publishing. These workshops are designed to enhance participants' capacity to prepare and submit scholarly work for international conference proceedings and index publications, an increasingly crucial skill in today's academic landscape. We believe that these initiatives are not merely complementary, but in fact central to our missions to foster academic excellence, empower our academic community, and elevate the global visibility of research emerging from Muslim societies. Therefore, I'd like to extend my deepest appreciations and thanks to the organizing committee, and of course also to the keynote speakers, workshop facilitators, partners, and all presenters and participants of this international conference for their contributions and dedications. But before I close my remarks, again, I would like to thank deeply to the organizing committee coordinated by Ibu Desma Liza, PhD, for their tireless efforts in making this event a success. I'm proud that this conference is attended by more than 250 presenters from various institutions in Indonesia, which reflects the hard work of all the committee. So finally, may this 10th Pre-International Conference on Education in Muslim Society be a fruitful academic journey for all of us, and may it further strengthen our shared commitment to advancing education in Muslim contexts around the world. So thank you very much for your kind attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Prof. Siti Nurul Askia, for the welcoming remark. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we have come to our main session with our distinguished keynote speaker, Ms. Jenny Lewis, Teacher Quality Improvement Advisor at Inovasi South of Australia, will present the topic about deep learning as learning innovation. And this session will be moderated by Bapak Yubaidi Siron, PhD. But before we begin, please allow me to briefly introduce our moderator today. Yubaidi Siron, PhD, is a lecturer from the Early Childhood Education Study Program at Syarif Hidayatullah Said Islamic University, Jakarta. He pursued his doctoral degree from Queen's University, Belfast, the United Kingdom. He writes, teaches, and researches in early childhood education, STEM in early childhood, and then parental involvement. So we are delighted to have him moderating today's main session. Bapak Yubaidi Siron, the session is yours.
Thank you so much, Bu Haryanti. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the first sessions of Pre-ICEMS 2025. My name is Yubaidi Siron. It's truly an honor to serve as a moderator for these sessions. We are grateful to have participants joining us today. Your presence reflects our shared commitment to improving education and ensuring that every student has the opportunity to succeed. These sessions will be particularly meaningful as we reflect on how quality teachings and learning can be strengthened through innovation and collaborations. It is my pleasure to introduce our distinguished speakers. Ms. Jenny Lewis from South Australia. She currently serves as a Teacher Quality Improvement Advisor at Inovasi, a program dedicated to supporting education improvement through innovative practices and partnerships. With her extensive experience in teacher professional development and education system strengthening, Ms. Jenny brings a valuable perspective to our discussion today. Without further ado, please join me in warmly welcoming Ms. Jenny with a big applause. And Ms. Jenny, the floor is yours.
Terima kasih, Pak, and hello to everyone. I'm just confirming you can see the slide deck. Yes? Okay. It's with great gratitude that I present to you this morning about deep learning and leading innovation through a number of different examples that I will provide for you today. But as moderator, I will just let you know and let everyone know that this is probably our worst weather day here, and but for different reasons to your rain. We have it's heading towards 43 degrees, and we have very high winds, which means we're close to bushfires, and sometimes the electricity goes out. So I do have backup if we get to that point with phones and things like that. But just to share with the organisers, we may need to go to my phone and you sharing the slides. So I hope that is okay. And let's pray that we are not interrupted by the weather. So our learning intentions today are, what I will present to you is some of the journey we've been on with Innovasi and the esteemed research teams in Indonesia that have been looking at what deep learning looks like in other countries to benchmark. And when we heard about the minister's vision and the ministers want for each student to have a quality learning experience, we understood and we distilled that to be that the minister and the ministries of MOPSI and MORA were looking to what quality teaching and learning could look like in every school in Indonesia to ensure every teacher and school leader had the capacity building to provide quality teaching and learning experiences for every student in Indonesia. So with that, we'll start that journey. I'm going to provide some examples of our provinces. They're called states, but I'll call them provinces. Because although there is national direction, national guidelines has been developed for your country, for Indonesia, each province has taken those understandings of learning design and built that into different quality teaching frameworks. So I will also share that. And towards the end, I will share what is the national infrastructure to support the provinces in the design and implementation of quality teaching and learning experiences. And I'm conscious of your 3T schools. I've done reviews on 3T for Innovasi. I have supported and was one of the writers of the inclusive education modules for the MOPSI last year that I'm sure Maura has access to. This is done with heart and understanding that as we talk about quality teaching and learning in our schools, that we do this with family engagement and community partnerships. And we're talking about how this would look in every classroom, no matter what the teaching focus was, whether it's mathematics or English or the arts or languages. This is looking at what quality learning design looks like. So I start with this OECD vision that, although is from a paper in 2010, is still very relevant. And I'm pointing initially to the blue shaded area on the left-hand side, but I've added the questions, the system questions that DeFore and DeFore start from the US about quality practice in our classrooms. So if we put the children at the center, or in this particular diagram, I've popped the children at the top of the inverted pyramid. This is about thinking of every student in every classroom and what they need provided to them in terms of a learning design so that they can engage or participate to the best of their ability in the learning experiences that the teacher is designing. So in Australia, when different teams came to visit to look at deep learning, what they were always hearing was the children was at the centre of the provincial learning design. But when we then look at that for as systems questions, we want to make sure that every teacher in every classroom has the capability to state the learning intention of the lesson, talk about the intentions that they're hoping that the exhibitions of practice that the students will be able to develop and show. We're also thinking about the questions that what will that learning intention look like? Sorry, in a design of a classroom, how will you know when the children have learnt the learning intention? So when we think about planning for learning, we're also thinking about the assessment for the learning. That's part of the planning right up front. We don't think about the assessment piece later in the design. Having teachers been able to think about how they will support students that after completing the lessons still wasn't able to achieve what the teacher was hoping for, and for teachers to think about the students that are already have shared knowledge and are able to develop this and show the skills of the learning intention in the program, and therefore are sitting in the classroom a little bit bored. So in many schools in Australia, they group this by grade. So year 5, year 6, the first year of school, year 7, year 8. The teachers would sit together, say for a year 5, and look at the student data and discuss, okay, maybe 4 teachers are talking about, this is what we need to teach next week or next term. How will we design this knowing that some of our students aren't ready for this and some students have already learnt and achieved this? How will we differentiate the learning experience for the students across our grade? So that is discussed as shared programming. And then they talk about the assessment that they will do throughout the learning to capture the students' knowledge and skills and the areas for development. So that's usually co-planned together. Then when they get back together and look at their assessments, they start to look at, oh my goodness, this capture of students didn't learn what we thought they were going to learn. And so there's a collegial discussion about who will have a repeat instructional lesson with these small group of students that need more investment in this learning intention. And, excuse me, they will, they will also look at which students could be doing much more in this learning engagement. So they start to collaborate on their planning and their designing and their assessment. But from a DNIS, from a local government point of view, the ministry is thinking about, or the local province or the district is thinking about, okay, if we're designing this rich learning experience, what does that look like as a shared mission and vision and values for our district, for our vision, for our province? What is deep learning or quality teaching and learning experiences going to look like across the wider area? How will we nurture each school and each teacher in that school to be able to intuitively achieve those 4 questions? How will we encourage a collective inquiry when students aren't learning and aren't learning well? And it's just as much for those lessons, children who actually could be learning at 1 to 2 grades higher if they were allowed to. And looking at also what that continuous commitment to improvement is in each school, in each classroom, in each district, and in each province. So there's this cycle of support at the local government area. But more than that, from a MOPSI and a MORA point of view, what this looks like as ministry guidelines, standards of quality teaching, what does that look like in terms of the focus on results? So what are the intentional results that a ministry is wanting to see, saying grade 3 in mathematics? So everybody's across the country is striving to achieve those targets. What does that look like in a complete learning design from the ministry level through to the province, through to the district, through to the schools, through to every teacher and school leader. So the focus of system improvement is the students. So that's what we're hoping to see as a Mora and a MOPSI developmental cycle over the next 2 to 3 years. I know from a MOPSI and the ministry's focus, deep learning or quality teaching and learning sits within a national architecture. And I'm sure Mora's replicates or even has additional guidelines for that. So we're also looking at, it's one thing to design learning experiences, quality learning experiences, but if we don't take that into consideration with the national competencies for teacher, which I know in a MOPSI's framework are being revised, if we don't take that, consider what are the competencies leaders should know and be able to achieve in terms of quality design. If we haven't got school monitoring and supports in place, if we're not tuning into what are the national assessments are that students need to be performing, the national curriculum and the national education standards, and be conscious of the developmental plans for PM, then we're actually doing something in isolation from the national language. So we need to think about that as well. So we can't separate deep learning from all the other pieces of the national architecture that we need to have in place. So when we look at that from a national architecture, and this is the slide where I'm sharing with you the AITSL architecture, which is our Australian Institute for Teaching and School Leadership. I can also share with you, and I do hope this goes live and quickly for you. May I check, that the screen has refreshed to a website now? Yes? Can you see the AITSL website now? Can I check that? Are you seeing a website called AITSL now? Okay, I'm going to assume you can see that, and I'm going to do a demonstration of practice. So this is the national architecture that the Australian government has invested in for quality teaching and learning in every classroom, in every school, for every teacher and every school. Here are our national competencies, and I'm going to take you to the graduate competencies. And you'll be able to navigate this later on yourself. I can go into every national competency and confirm that what should I be teaching if I'm looking at what students know. How do I find out what students need to know and learn? I can go into an illustration of practice. So if I open up that eye, because
Sorry, the screen is still your slides, not the
that's what I was trying to find out. So I'm going to stop share, and I'm going to reshare power. And you should see the website now. Can you see that now?
Not yet. Maybe share with the like maybe Chrome or the Safari or something on your picture.
I'm just going to there. You should be able to see it now, Pa. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, lovely. So what I might do is just come back to the screen so you can see this is our national architecture for quality teaching and learning using our competency statements. And I'm just going to drag that down. Here you will find all of our teacher standards, your teacher competencies you would use, talk them. And I'm going to share what we would want our teachers coming out of university into classrooms to be able to know and do in each classroom. It does specify the each area. These are the 7 areas, our 7 focus areas. And I'm particularly going to come down and look at planning and implementing effective teaching and learning, which is one of our strands. And I'm going to share with you just very quickly, and then I'll stop and come back to the slides. You'll be able to go in and look at each focus area, the descriptors for us. So we're going to look at planning, structure, and sequencing of learning programs. If I wanted to look at what a teacher who had been out for 3 years could do, I could look at proficient. I could look at also highly accomplished, which is a teacher that's been out for 10 years. And I could look at what a lead teacher who leads others in quality teaching would be able to know and do. But I'm going to come back to what a graduate teacher would need to be able to know and do in terms of planning. And I just want to open, without going into it, an illustration of practice. So if we look at what this beginning teacher might be doing in circle time, I'll just open it up, but I won't play it today. You'll be able to see a little example of what she has done in the design of planning. And underneath, you'll see what that looks like in terms of what the lesson is about, its context, and some discussion questions a school or a university or a teacher could look at to see how this teacher planned a quality teaching and learning experience. So that's part of our national infrastructure. And this helps us to make sure there is consistency of practice in learning design across Australia. So that's just one of the examples we have done at a national level. So you're quite welcome to go in and look at the AITSL website, as we call it, AITSL, and you'll be able to see the teacher standards. You'll be able to see what a teacher needs to learn to be preparing to apply to be a teacher. You'll be able to go in and look at all the examples of quality practice we have and what a leadership team in the school or the school principal would need to know and be able to do. So that's just part of our national infrastructure, but it also clearly defines for us what we should be able to know and do in quality practice. So I'll come back now to the slide deck. So you've seen a little bit of AITSL, you've seen some of the things we have in place to enable each teacher across Australia to tune into the language and expectations of quality teaching design. Now, when we had the expert ministries out here having a look at deep learning, or as we call it, quality teaching and learning, we talked about that we couldn't find in Indonesia, and I've been working in Indonesia for 8 years with the ministry and MORA. We couldn't see a quality teaching and learning framework to reference. So I'm going to share with you 3 examples. So what you can see from the AITSL website I just showed you is that they've communicated what quality teaching and learning looks like through a standards framework. And each province in Australia must use our national competencies as part of their learning design. But each province has developed a teaching and learning cycle. And this is the New South Wales one, and the STEAM Ministry spent a lot of time looking at that. And what you can see, it has important points. You can see the 4 questions here. What is it my students need to know? And so there's some monitoring and assessment to do some analysis for decision making before they come to the next question. What do I want my students to learn? And again, there's some reflection and some monitoring and reflection to actually come up with the decisions of how they will plan for learning, whatever it is that the students need to know and the teacher wants them to know. And then there's some decisions made about how will my students get there. So thinking about that, not only the design of the learning, but the assessment task before they complete this in classroom practices in their classroom. And then the last part of the New South Wales learning design is how will I know when my students get there? So what are the targets and the learning intentions that I have set in my assessment tasks? And then what does that look like in assessment? So you see, it's quite it helps the teacher tune in to what they've got to consider before they design the quality learning tasks in the classroom. So what does that look like in terms of the deep learning model that you're coming to know and understand, and where that sits in the New South Wales teaching and learning cycle? Well, it sits in that particular area. It's sort of getting the teachers to start to think about how will my students get there? What am I going to have to design in terms of learning experiences, a quality learning design, so that the students engage or participate in the classroom lesson to their full potential, and they are participating in classroom practice. So what would and this is what your ministry saw, they saw a differentiated classroom where they've thought about how will my students get there? Well, some students will need a lot more hands-on activity. Some students will want to write and reflect. Some students will need a challenge. They'll need to extend the lesson. And some children will need their learning chunked or really carefully sequenced to tune them into the learning lesson. So from our knowledge of what quality teaching and learning looks like and the minister's vision for deep learning in every school, this is what we understand. This is the section that the deep learning model focuses on. So we have been talking with the esteemed committees that are now writing the frameworks and revising the modules that some of you will have participated in, to actually consider more deeply what this part of the lesson design looks like and building in the other parts of the learning design. So we'll come back to that in another example in a moment. So just when you receive these slides, just to inform you, not only will you get the links to the New South Wales, but you'll also see what the New South Wales, the province I'm referencing here, has done in helping every teacher to understand what planning learning experience for every student looks like. And you'll find some quality examples there. And then, although the message looks the same underneath, it actually is going to a deeper level of that. So there's some supports for you to come back and visit. When we were in New South Wales looking at deep learning, we visited two schools, and two classrooms. But in this school, which is Auburn North Primary School, and you'll be able to Google that and look at a number of parts of their example, you'll actually see how they've designed a number of learning experiences for teachers in their classroom. So there is actually a shared way of doing quality learning that the schools in New South Wales take from the quality teaching learning cycle you've just seen in the previous slides, and thought about how that will best fit in their school. This school has 80 different cultures in its school, very Muslim attendance. A lot of Arabic students from different countries attend this school. as well as local Australian students, English students, European students. But it is a school, when you look at that website, that is got a high population of Muslim students. So in considering all those things, and the students might be new to that school, they've considered explicit teaching as one frame. So really being very clear at the beginning of the lesson. This is what we're going to learn about in this lesson. This is what I'm hoping you're able to achieve. And this is how we're going to get there. Being very explicit up front. Very heavily focused on data-informed practices. They've got data of what the students know and don't know. High expectations for every student. There is an expectation that students will achieve what they need to achieve, but it's chunked. There's explicit teaching to help it's scaffolded for students to be able to learn. Instructional leadership, very clear classroom management practices, and so on. So that's the framework that Auburn North sits under. They have a number of routines in terms of how they, and then this is their deep learning design or their quality teaching design for Auburn North. So in introducing the lesson, they provide a hook. That they may have some sort of visual, some sort of exciting things that children will look at to bring them into the lesson. This teacher will plan from what the students already know in prior knowledge, and they will have established what the learning goal is, the success criteria, and that will be written on the blackboard or the whiteboard, so that students very clearly understand, oh, that's what we're looking at today. Oh, this is what you're hoping that I will learn. Oh, this is what I don't know that I'm going to have to ask about in the lesson. So that's the explicit teaching part. The teacher models what they're going to do in the lesson, what they learn in the last lesson, and what they'll be working on in the next lesson. They then do some guided practice. So they do sharing of the learning together. So the teacher pairs the children up and they talk about what they know, don't know, and discuss with their other colleagues. And then they go into, for those children who can start to independently work together, they will go off to work on the lesson. The teacher will keep on the floor or at their desks in a small group, those that need a little bit more scaffolding. And there's always, at the end of the lesson, a review of what they've learnt today, a reflection on which parts were hard and which parts the students would like to learn more about, and they get feedback from the children. Now that sounds like that takes time. Yes, it does. A quality lesson planned well means the children will get most of the learning achieved in that one lesson. But for some children, they will need 2 or 3 lessons, focusing on that learning intention. That's how we make sure we build our foundations quite strongly, and we work together well. This is the Victorian Department of Education. So they've taken their learning model a little bit differently, but again, still tuned into the national teacher competencies as the backbone of their planning. So they have a framework. I realize you won't be able to read those little words, but I just wanted to show you, you'll be able to go in and have a look at this scaffolding. This is some of the criteria that we're building with the expert committee at the moment. And if you look at the blue, I'm going to take you to deep learning, the deep learning challenge for this particular scaffold, and show you what it looks like at the next level. So again, the teachers have all these supports. What are the actions and the indicators that they're hoping to develop in their learning design, and consider. It's that theory of action when students are challenged to move from surface knowledge to deeper levels of understanding, they are more engaged and committed to extend and apply their learning. So that's the theory of action behind the deep learning or the quality teaching learning model in Victoria. And again, you'll be able to go in and retrieve that website. They've also, you saw at Auburn North in the New South Wales model, they referenced some number of different strategies for high impact learning. You can see explicit teaching is there in the middle, but you can also see there are metacognitive strategies. So we encourage our teachers in Australia in a quality teaching and learning design to ensure deep learning that students will need different hooks and different starters to join the learning lesson, to be engaged in the learning lesson, to participate in the learning lesson. Each teacher needs to be skilled in setting goals, structuring the lesson, being explicit at the beginning of the lesson so that students can tune into the learning, have really well-planned work examples to show the students, this is what it possibly could look like, but I'd love to see what you can show me in your learning. There's always planning for collaborative learning within the classroom. Multiple exposures means that the students will revisit this in different ways, in an English lesson, in a maths lesson, whatever the focus is. I've spoken about metacognitive strategies, deepening the learning for each student, having good questions to ask the students so that students don't feel confronted, but they can talk about what to the teacher about what's working well and not working well. But the children also learn questions to ask each other. And we saw a lot of that in Australia in our visits. And of course, the most important thing, a differentiated learning design. So this is Hattie's work. It emerged out of Victoria, the province that I'm referencing here, and has always been a very important part of the discussion about how we design quality learning, deepening learning, deep learning. So you can see that we follow a package. This is South Australia's current frameworks. You can all see they're designed a little bit differently. And I've only captured one of the screens to help you have a look at what's in this. South Australia it's probably our best learning design, and it's been around for a long time, and they're in the middle of changing it. So if you're looking at these provincial websites over time, this one will change next as the experts continue to look at what deep learning looks like in this province. But again, they have some great questions, and I've linked in there for you what that looks like. But because of the weather, I will I'll leave this one for you to look at. We've got an example of a teacher just in the link just here to visit, and you can see how they've unpacked these questions. What do you want them to learn? How will you know if they've got it? And so what will you do next when they get there? That learning map, or that deep learning map, is an essential feature of all teacher planning in South Australia. Okay, are we right there? Yeah. So the link is there for you to revisit, and we'll keep progressing whilst we haven't got any interruptions to the electricity here. We visited a gorgeous school called Mount Barker South, and the schools would be, the expert committees will be talking about this in Indonesia at the moment. But every school in South Australia uses the solo levels of learning. And this is the learning architecture, the learning design architecture in this school in South Australia. So you can see that not only do we have the national teacher competencies and how we will design learning, we also have a state guideline or a provincial guideline, and each school breaks this down into what that will look like in their school. So they've been very explicit in their school about what each teacher needs to be skilled at to ensure deep learning in every classroom. So you can see in the professional learning within that school at the moment, about Mount Barker South, that they're focusing on solo learning because it's got a star next to it, and dispositions, learning dispositions for the student. When we were there, we could see the work that had been done on learning pits, and I'll introduce that work to you in a moment. And they've also looked at goal setting. So in the classrooms, when we visited them just recently, we could see the students had a language of learning. We could see the students were paired up on the floor and at tables with the shared learning intentions. We could see data assessments around the room of where children were working, and we could see grouping of different students for different learning purpose. And we could see right down in this bottom right-hand corner what the teacher was doing where a student was struggling with the learning. And in this particular case is because they had some information from another piece of learning, and they were trying to join the learning intention and what they already knew was something different. And so the teacher spent some time with them. So this learning design can be occurring at any one time within that classroom. So solo, you probably know already, and I'm sorry this slide is very bad. This is how we received the PowerPoint from that school. But if you haven't met, you would know Bloom's. Many of you would know Bloom's. Many of you would, this is solo. In this state, in this province in South Australia, they ask each school to use solo as the learning design, so that it's pre-structured, unstructured, multi-structured, very relational, and extended into other areas of the curriculum. So that's there just to show you the depth that a school gets to. But we're talking about a 10-year learning journey here. So this just doesn't happen overnight. This means an investment in the learning design at the provincial level. It means the learning design, what this looks like in each school. So capacity building for school leaders and district leaders. And then what does this look like in the classroom? So in one of the classrooms, we took a quick picture of what the students had agreed surface learning would look like, deeper learning would look like, and the transfer of learning. This was the students' language. So again, this will take time to get to, but this is giving you an idea of what deep learning looks like across this province and in each school. I introduced you a moment ago to the learning pit. So in every classroom that we visited, the students had co-designed with the teacher what the learning pit would look like in their classroom. That's Jonathan Nottingham's work. And the students were talking about, so this is all their words there, what they will do in their learning struggles, who will they use to help them with as they go deeper in their learning, and then what would this look like as they transfer what they've learned into other places. This is children's work, this is children's learning, but they have talked about the struggle of learning, of when the teacher introduces a new learning concept, what they need to help them in their struggle. For example, reread the learning task to check that they understood it, brainstorming, all the things that you would know. But this is in the language of the children and in the hands of the children. So this makes it really important. So in another classrooms, we saw their different design learning pit. So it was personalized in each classroom. And this is revisited each year for each classroom. And then what that looked like in the language of the children. So you can see that it goes from system to province to possibly district to school to each student. What does deep learning or the quality of teaching and learning look like when we have aligned practice? And that's an important part of this. So if we revisit now our ministry infrastructure, again, I know this would be reflected similar for Mora. What does this look like in terms of system supports? And I just wanted to take you to the white part of the circle. So at the moment, in terms of the expert panels that are writing your design for deep learning for Indonesia, you can see the student dimensions of a graduate profile. And so we've been I was up in Jakarta last week, and we had a big discussion about this with our the esteemed panels. Because although we are getting a great understanding of what the learning experiences will look like, what the learning principles are, meaningful, mindful, joyful learning, I sort of come back to them and talked about, so what do you mean by dimensions of a graduate profile? Now, Michael Fullan introduced this in 2013, and since that, ministries around the world have started to look at this because it had a deeper learning intention. It wasn't just thinking about what does critical learning look like, thinking look like in my classroom, what does collaboration, what does independent learning, creativity look like. This is about a graduate from the education system in Indonesia being able to show at an adult level. So if you were an adult and working with others in teams at Google, Microsoft, IBM, whatever, wherever your workplace is, you have skills to navigate what creativity will look like, what communication will look like at an adult level, what collaboration will look like. So, and so forth. So Indonesia has 8 dimensions here. So what have we been working on in Australia, just to finish off here, so we can have some questions. I'm just watching the time, Bill and Pa. After 4 years of research at the University of Melbourne, they came up with these dimensions: acting ethically, active citizenship, agency in learning, collaboration, communication, personal development, and quality thinking. So these were their 7 dimensions that they are looking at. This was after gathering evidence in every university across Australia, the international evidence. There are 40 schools that were in the original pilot that I was a part of, and Ibu Len, who some of you have met, also was part of. So if you look over in the bigger colored boxes, you can see the dimensions are there, being broken up into all the aspects that they would need to show. Purple, being persistent, being responsible, being systematic, being respectful, building social alliances, and so on. So these are the elements that every graduate would need to be able to perform at to be a capable national citizen able to work in any workplace. So if we look at agency in learning, which is the 3rd dimension, out of all of those elements, to have agency in learning or learner agency for student and teacher, these are the elements that they have pulled from that larger group that a student would need to be able to show in graduating out of high school in a learner profile. And so the assessments would need to demonstrate those 12 elements in performative tasks. So what does this look like when I'm working with in an aged care home? What does this look like in terms of being able to learn and act with autonomy? I can be left alone to get on with the work. What does this look like to be reflective? And so on. And this has been pulled out into a learner profile. So what does agency in learning look like in an early part of grades 1, 2, and 3 as a directed learner? What does that look like? As an diligent learner, and we would start to look at that around years 5, 6. The self-regulated learner, again around 6, year 7, year 8. The extended learner around year 10, and the unbound learner. What would your evidence of practice look like in as you graduate from high school? So not only now that do schools in Australia that are participating in this continual research-based exploration are not only performing with their final certificate for the academics that they have completed, they are also graduating with a learner profile that shows what this looks like at different levels. So it's a new piece of research, but after 4 years of collaboration, it is now an international collaboration. So schools in Korea are now part of this. Microsoft International has schools that are participating in this exploration, because when it goes into international context, some of this will look very different in evidence. Google has a cohort. Michael Fullan's group has a cohort, all exploring this to look at what that credential would look like when students graduate from high school. But it starts in year 1 and year 2 as a number of sequenced learning designs. And it's something like this. This is what it will look like in terms of learning progressions. So this is an early discussion that we came back to talk with the expert committee with about this may be a new piece of work that we can work on, because it shows that a student is graduating from the end of school, high school, with deep reflective practice, deep capability as a citizen, as well as passing the academics. And many universities in Australia are now taking this as part of the entry into universities. Many big businesses like Price Waterhouse, for example, are taking this profile more so than the graduation academic profile as what they want to see in their graduates. So we've met the teaching standards, and I wanted to come back and talk about that national infrastructure we have and what that could look like in Indonesia as a reference point. What do you mean when we're looking at planning of lessons effectively so every student can participate at their level of performance? And all the examples were put in there. The other place we have also added some of this infrastructure to help teachers design lessons where the students will be able to go from surface to deep to transfer of learning is in our ACARA learning design. So this is our national curriculum. So I know I will need to stop sharing and open that up for you in a PowerPoint, and I'm hoping this opens up as a video. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to come down and show what this looks like as a example. And if you can just watch, everyone, the colors over here will change. So this is the assessment rubric for this curriculum task, and we're just hoping this works for you. I hope that's working, Pa.
This is my presentation.
Sorry, Jenny.
Design
Sorry.
of our school
Okay.
The
garden.
video is not appear.
I am
Okay.
going to talk about why a school garden is
I'm going to share it again.
the important things that should be in the design, and finally, what I think it should look like. I researched school gardens and found some news reports where the students mentioned many positive things. These are
Still on the
some of
previous screen, Jenny.
in particular, the respect that we develop for plants and the environment when we learn how they grow and the
Okay, I'll
important
try
part
one
they
more time, Pa.
play
keeping us healthy. Through my research, I have settled on 9 key features for my school garden. Each one plays an important part.
Yes.
Okay.
A water tank is important for when we are in drought. We can store the water when we have rain and we are not relying on town water. More garden beds will let us grow more variety of vegetables or fruit. We could also give a different class in the school responsible for a garden bed. A compost bin might also let us look at food waste in the school. We could teach some of the students on how to recycle food for our plants. The chickens can also provide eggs for our school, which can use in the canteen or sell to help us buy new plants. The fences will keep everything secure. There are lots of different animals like foxes and wild dogs, which could hurt our chickens, but cats and possums could destroy our plants. Our garden can be a peaceful place. Some students don't like playing handball or football at lunchtime, but they would like to sit in a garden and talk with their friends. Different plants need different things at different times of the year. A shade house will help us to grow seedlings in the right environment. A shed is important for safety. Garden tools can be heavy and sharp and should only be used when adults or teachers can help us.
So
This is a sketch of
I'm
my
going to
garden
stop
system.
this now, Pat.
So I can easily show you all of the different parts. Placing things in certain positions is important. You can see the water tank is next to the shed to catch the water runoff. The compost bin is
Okay, so we should be, I'll just get out of that and I'll come back to the PowerPoint. And share. So just to finish off in our PowerPoint, because we're close to being finished, again, I won't play this YouTube clip, but this is just a gorgeous example of what deep learning could look like, and was this one of the videos that when our STEAM panel saw this video, they said, yes, this is deep learning. And to share with you what it's about two children having two very different ideas about what learning could look like, combining their thoughts to produce a brilliant learning design that beat everybody else in the classroom because of its innovation. So I'm conscious, part that I think I need to leave some time for questions. So I'm happy to now come back to take some questions as well.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jenny, for insightful and inspiring presentations. You have highlighted the importance of the empowering teachers and school through structured support, and then strong leadership and clear standards, while still keeping students at the very heart of the learning process. Okay, thank you. We will now open the sessions for questions and reflections. If you would like to ask questions, please type in the chat box or use the raise hands feature, and I will invite you to speak. Please.
And I might need translation, Pa.
Okay, in Bahasa Indonesia also. Okay. Any questions, please? Okay, while waiting the questions maybe still processing in chat box, you mentioned the importance of deep learning to support every student success. In your experience, maybe what are the most effective strategies, Jenny, for the teachers to save from the surface levels of teaching to deeper
Mm.
learning, especially in the diverse classroom context. Uh, Maybe we still waiting for the other questions in chat box or raise hands.
No problem. So, so if you refer back again to maybe the Auburn North, so you've got an example there for people to reference later on. It's really important that students actually understand why they're doing the lesson. And I have one son, when he was growing up, could tune into what the teacher was wanting him to do, and the other one would have no idea and would just copy what the other children were doing. So we have that sort of learning capability across our classrooms. So in the planning, in the learning design, the teacher will have thought about how they're going to hook the children in, what little prop or example that the children will actually understand what the teacher is hoping they're able to achieve. The learning intention will be on the board and what they're hoping to see in their work, but also the question, what else can you show me? Because we find in classrooms where the learning intention and hoping what this looks like in classrooms is put up on the board, children who can do more go, oh, is that all you wanted to know? So being explicit at the beginning about what we're going to be working on, linking it back to the previous lesson of what they already know and are able to do, getting the children to talk with each other about what they may be able to show in their learning. So some paired learning, because we find when children talk to each other about what they're going to be doing in this lesson or series of lessons, that it's better understood for some children. Then those children who who can, in terms of the differentiation, who know what they've got to do and can go off and start on their work, go back to their seats to start working on whatever the learning intention is, and other students stay with the teacher to do a little bit more scaffolding, and teacher will release them as they need to. You may have a student with disability in the classroom or disabilities, and therefore their teacher may be doing a little bit more scaffolding for that student, or have set the task up at an easier level. It may be a year 4 class or a year 7 class, but the teacher has designed a different lesson for them. So the content is still the same, but they may be working on a different learning intention. So all of that is in the planning for the learning design. So that's the mindful part of what we're hoping. And then, of course, the teacher is monitoring for performance, the students actually being able to complete the task as they walk around the room. The inclusive modules that have just been released by MOPSI, I worked on last year, and in the intermediate modules, you'll see what I've just said designed into a learning experience for the whole school to practice.
Thank you so much, Jenny. We have another questions from the chat box from Ulfi Kori. I want to read the questions. In the design assessment system, how can evidence of character and spirituality be collected and interpreted meaningfully? Are reflective journals or teacher observations considered valid evidence? Very nice questions.
So it was spirituality, and what was the other one?
Spiritually, character and spirituality can be collected and interpreted meaningfully.
That's why the person to the question, the profiles had to be built first. And even if you look at Michael Fullan's 2013 learning design, there was an example of what that looked like at year 1, year 2, year 3. So either from a province or a Mora or a MOPSI or then that must be agreed to first. It's very hard to just go in and collect evidence without reason or rationale. So the first thing to do will be to develop the profile of spirituality and character and what the evidence would look like in year one. For example, character, citizenship, being prepared to share with another person, being prepared to sit with another person to help them with their learning. But those have got to be broken down either at a school, a province, or a national level first, and examples of the work samples, the performances that would need to be collected first. To actually talk about it out of situation won't help at all. You'll be collecting evidence that may not be realistic. So this is a learning journey for Indonesia in the end, as a shared responsibility of what this will look like at grade level, right through to graduation. And if you look in some of the work already out there, there are many, many examples of this now, which I'd be happy to provide. But this needs to be a commitment of, at the minimum, the school, because just like collecting data around mathematics and English, the same sort of approach to data collection has to happen for character and spirituality and your other 6 dimensions.
Thank you so much. Hopefully it's answered the questions. One more questions maybe from the residents. Bu Desmaliza, please. Maybe this is the final questions because time is approaching.
Okay. Thank you so much, Miss Jenny. So when we listen, it seems that your the practice of deep learning in Australia it's quite easy, right? But what do you think the challenge to adapt this approach? So it's in case of Australian, or maybe because you are a researcher, you see what's happening in Indonesia also. And what is the advantage, do you think, that make this deep learning approach easier to practice here?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill. So we don't talk about deep learning. How we've come to understand in Australia, the minister's vision for deep learning was actually quality teaching and learning. And I know you have that in your previous competencies and the competencies before. And so we've talked with Maura and Moet before and the ministry before that of what that looks like in practice. So the first thing we need again in Indonesia is that standards frameworks, similar to AITSL, so that there is an agreed language and demonstrations of practice of what quality teaching and what quality learning looks like, which you call deep learning, for every Australian teacher and so for every Indonesian teacher. So we broke that up. What does every teacher need to know and be able to do to plan a lesson? Do they know where to get their data from? Do they have the evidence of what the children already know and don't know? Do teachers have skills in collaboratively designing learning together with others? Does teachers know how to know their students to actually design the right learning for the right students? We pack that into our standards framework, what you would call a competency framework, because like you 15 years ago, we wanted to have a quality teacher in front of every student so they would be successful across Australia. And there is shared language around that in the previous sets of teacher competencies that was worked on in Indonesia. And it's time to revisit that again. And I know the system is. So what would planning look like in every classroom? What would assessment look like every classroom? What would feedback look like in every classroom? That needs to be a shared language across Indonesia once again, so we're not reinventing. And then what does that look like in practice? Because planning a lesson for English in Aceh is going to look maybe very different in Jakarta to Papua. So what will it look like in our context for our students that we have? What would it look like in a 3T school? What would it look for where we have students with disabilities in our classrooms? So breaking that down into illustrations of practice, we call them, that have been quality assured, so they're showing the right demonstrations of practice for all teachers to see across Indonesia, is really, really important. So we need to build that shared language first, and what that would look like in classrooms in the early years through to the senior years, and aligning that very closely with the national curriculum, because the national curriculum is your examples of practice for teachers to learn how to plan, know, and assess. So it is a national architecture or a systems architecture to be built. And that's where we started 15 years ago. So none of what I've shared today happened overnight. And we're back again. The national announcement only came out yesterday that we are going to go back and rebuild our professional standards for teachers. In the 8 years I've been working in Indonesia, this will be your third development of the national teacher competencies. And so it'll be a good time, as these have been written, to reflect on what is deep learning in Indonesian context, and what do we want every teacher to know and be able to do to ensure every student is successful. So therefore, what does every school principal need to know and to be able to do? And for the ministries to respond to that in terms of supports. That's the journey we're on in Indonesia.
Thank you so much, Jenny. It's very
Thank you
insightful.
so much. One more question, but our next session is approaching, so I'm so sorry. Maybe for the last questions, we can hold for a while. And now, as we conclude on behalf of the ICEMS 2025 Organizing Committee, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to Miss Jenny for sharing her knowledge and experiences with us today. I would like to thank all of you for your active participations. May today's sessions inspire us to continue strengthening teachers' quality and learning innovations in our own context. Then the next session will begin soon after this, so we invite you to stay with us. And once again, thank you so much and see you in the next sessions. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam
wabarakatuh.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Ms. Jenny Lewis, for such an inspiring and insightful presentation, and to Mr. Yubaidi Siron for leading the discussion smoothly. That was an excellent start to our pre-ICEMS 2025, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, to express our sincere gratitude, we like to present a token of appreciation to our distinguished speaker, Ms. Jenny Lewis, and our moderator, Mr. Yubaidi Siron. May we invite Ibu Desmaliza, PhD, the head of the Pre-ICEMS committee, to present the token of appreciation.
Okay. Miss Jenny, thank you so much for your information so we can learn more about deep learning. And we are so grateful to have you here with us today. Please accept these certifications.
Terima kasih, Bu.
You're welcome. Sama-sama, Miss Jenny.
Okay, and then we continue with our moderator. So please, Ibu Desmalisa, to give the token of appreciation.
Okay. Pak Yubadi Siron, thank you for your striving hard to be a moderator today. So this is a certificate for you. Thank you so much.
Terima kasih, Ibu.
You're welcome.
Okay, so everyone, we continue to our parallel session. So in this parallel session, we will have 3 speakers. The first is Associate Professor Dr. Suwati Binti Hasim. The topic is about crafting excellence, strategies for writing and publishing in reputable journal. And the session will be conducted offline at the meeting room, 2nd floor, and will be moderated by Ibu Siti Zulfa, MPD. And then for the online session, we have the speaker, Professor Muhammad Zuhdi, MED, PhD, and the topic is about how to write in Tarbiyah Journal. And then the second speaker for the online session is Ibu Dina Rahma Fadila, MSE, and the topic is about how to write in Edu Science Journal. Okay, and this online session will be moderated by Dr. Ainur Rafiq, MAG. Okay, before we begin, please let me briefly introduce our moderator. The first moderator is Siti Zulfa. She is a lecturer from English Education Study Program, Sarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University, Jakarta. She pursued her master degree from this university. And then our second moderator is Dr. Ainur Rafiq. He is a lecturer from the Islamic Education Study Program at Sarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University, Jakarta. And then he pursued his doctoral degree from Sarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University, Jakarta. And then he writes, teaches, and also research in Islamic education field. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll give the time for Bapak Ainur Rafiq and also Ibu Siti Zulfa. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin. Sayyidina Maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Resmi dari panitia menghendaki terkait dengan sesi ini menggunakan bahasa Indonesia karena penjelasannya terkait dengan how to write in Tarbiyah Journal dan how to write in EduScience Journal. Oleh karena itu, sesuai dengan jadwal kita, ini dari jam 10 sampai jam 11.30. Kemudian kita ada dua narasumber. Yang pertama adalah Profesor Muhammad Zuhdi, MED, PhD. Kemudian juga Ibu Dina Rahma Fadilah. Kedua narasumber ini akan menjelaskan terkait dengan bagaimana cara menulis atau bagaimana tata kelola penulisan terkait dengan dua jurnal yang sudah masuk pada Sinta 2, yaitu Tarbiyah, dan yang kedua adalah EduScience. Karena waktu kita hanya 1 jam 30 menit, maka untuk materi atau penyampaian perdana dari kedua narasumber ini mungkin kita batasi mungkin sekitar maksimal 30 menit ya, maksimal 30 menit. Jadi nanti kita ada diskusi 30 menit. Bagi para peserta yang ingin menanyakan secara teknis terkait dengan penulisan untuk jurnal Tarbiyah dan juga untuk jurnal EduScience, nanti bisa didiskusikan lebih lanjut. Untuk pertama kalinya, untuk waktu yang pertama, kami persilahkan Bapak Profesor Muhammad Zuhdi, MED, PhD. Beliau saya kira semua yang hadir di sini sudah sangat kenal, khususnya adalah mahasiswa, dosen, dan sivitas akademika di Universitas Islam Negeri Sarif Hidayatullah Jakarta. Kebetulan hari ini kebetulan bertepatan dengan Hari Santri. Ternyata Profesor Muhammad Zuhdi, MED, PhD ini juga santri juga. Artinya kalau santri itu tidak ada istilah mantan santri ya, tetapi tetap menjadi santri. Kapanpun akan menjadi santri. Untuk nanti sesi yang kedua, nanti Bu Dina Rahma Fadilah setelah presentasi dari Profesor Muhammad Zuhdi selesai, baru nanti langsung presentasi dari Bu Dina, kemudian kita lanjutkan dengan tanya jawab. Untuk mempersingkat waktu, kami persilahkan Profesor Muhammad Zuhdi untuk menyampaikan materinya. Monggo, dipersilahkan.
Terima kasih.
Mohon izin, Profesor Muhammad Zuhdi sudah hadir.
Bisa terdengar suara saya, Pak Rafiq?
Bisa.
Pak Rafiq bisa dengar suara saya?
Monggo. Sudah kedengaran, Pak. Sudah. Oke, terima kasih. Monggo.
Oke. Baik, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Saya waktunya berapa menit, Pak Rafiq?
30 menit maksimal.
Maksimal 30 menit. Oke, dimulai dari sekarang. Eh, yang saya hormati Ibu Dekan Fakultas Ilmu Tarbiyah dan Keguruan, para wakil dekan dan panitia International Conference of Education in Muslim Society atau ICEMS yang saya hormati dan saya banggakan, dan juga moderator Pak Ainur Rafiq. Eh, Senang sekali saya diberi kesempatan untuk sharing tentang jurnal tarbiyah di hadapan saudara sekalian. Em, karena Pak Rafiq sampaikan presentasinya dalam bahasa Indonesia, slide-nya nanti akan bercampur, ada yang bahasa Inggris, bahasa Indonesia, karena judulnya yang diberikan ke saya adalah How to Write in Tarbiyah. Tarbiyah Journal of Education in Muslim Society. Eh, Screen saya sudah kelihatan, Pak Rafiq?
Sudah kelihatan.
Oke. Em, Nama jurnalnya adalah Tarbiyah, sama dengan nama fakultas kita. Walaupun fakultasnya sekarang sudah berkembang menjadi Fakultas Ilmu Tarbiyah dan Keguruan. Tapi jurnal kita adalah jurnal Tarbiyah. Nah, sekilas tentang Tarbiyah. eh, Tarbiyah Journal of Education in Muslim Society adalah jurnal yang peer-reviewed tentang pendidikan di Muslim World. Lahir tahun 2014. Sebenarnya kelahiran jurnal Tarbiyah ini berbarengan dengan kelahiran ICEMS. Kalau kita lihat namanya itu identik. ICEMS, makanya pakai S di belakangnya, ICEMS atau ICEMS, International Conference on Education in Muslim Society. Tarbiyah juga adalah Journal of Education in Muslim Society. Dia lahir berbarengan di tahun 2014 untuk memastikan bahwa fakultas kita memiliki corong, memiliki media informasi, sharing penelitian, sharing pengetahuan dan pengalaman. Sebelumnya Tarbiyah sudah punya beberapa jurnal yang sempat beredar dan sempat terakreditasi nasional juga. Tapi kemudian sempat vakum, maka 2014 dimunculkan lagi. Ketika dimunculkan, kita mencari nama yang tepat. Akhirnya disepakati nama jurnalnya adalah Jurnal Tarbiyah atau Tarbiyah Journal of Education in Muslim Society. Nah, di awal kita awalnya hanya mentarget jurnal ini, bukan mentarget, awalnya jurnal ini tentu saja jurnal lokal. Tapi kita memang targetnya dari awal dengan nama yang internasional. Kita berharap memang jurnal ini memiliki recognition internasional pada saatnya. Karena itu dari awal kita sudah peer reviewed. 2 edisi pertama dalam bahasa Indonesia, tapi ada bahasa Inggrisnya. Edisi berikutnya full English karena target internasionalisasi. Dan tidak lupa bahwa Tarbiyah ini dimiliki atau dipublikasikan oleh Fakultas Ilmu Tarbiyah dan Keguruan, fakultas kita ini. Memang aturan-aturannya ini sangat berubah-ubah ya. Awalnya kan kita ingin jurnal ini menjadi sarana para dosen, mahasiswa, utamanya mahasiswa pasca sarjana di Fakultas Ilmu Tarbiyah dan Keguruan untuk sharing hasil pemikirannya, hasil analisisnya, hasil penelitiannya kepada dunia, baik dunia dalam kampus maupun di luar kampus, bahkan mancanegara. Tetapi sekarang ini kan ada ketentuan untuk bisa diakui sebagai angka kredit itu harus di jurnal yang di luar kampus. Nah, itu sehingga kalau kita menerbitkan di jurnal di dalam, seolah-olah tidak valid gitu, karena dianggap kalau menerbitkan di dalam itu adalah hasil apa namanya, tidak melalui peer review. Padahal meskipun orang dalam menulis pun kita melakukan peer review. Tarbiyah ini diterbitkan untuk memfasilitasi pertukaran ide, opini, dan analisis serta kritik serta research result tentang pendidikan di masyarakat Muslim di seluruh dunia. Dan dia di publish biannually, setahun 2 kali, indeks di DOAJ, Sinta, Google Scholar, Dimensions, Open Alex, dan juga di Moraref juga. Nah, ini pengelolanya. Saya sejak awal diminta oleh dekan ketika itu untuk menjadi editor in chief. Saya dibantu oleh Prof. Maila Dinia, Ibu Dr. Sita Ratnaningsih, Pak Kandidat Dr. Yazid Hadi, dan Pak Agus Syupyan yang membantu saya mengelola jurnal ini. Tentu ada editor lain yang tidak bisa saya sebutkan semua di sini, yang juga berperan penting. Nah, jurnal Tarbiyah ini lahir sebetulnya karena adanya concern kita, concern banyak para peneliti nasional dan internasional. Satu ketika saya mengundang Dr. Abdullah Sahin ke kampus kita untuk ICEMS tahun, kalau nggak salah 2016 atau 2017. Rasanya 2017. Beliau adalah peneliti tentang pendidikan Islam yang banyak sekali karyanya dari Warwick University di England. Pertama kali beliau ke Indonesia ketika itu, dan beliau menyampaikan surprised ketika sampai di Indonesia. Mengapa surprised? Karena beliau melihat Islam di Indonesia ini berbeda dari yang beliau bayangkan sebelumnya. Dan beliau mengatakan ternyata Islam di Indonesia begitu terbuka, begitu ramah, dan pendidikannya maju. Saya surprise melihat madrasah, anak-anak berkerudung, berlari-lari, bermain, berinteraksi dengan bebas. Anak laki-laki juga lebih lagi. Di kampus aktivitas sangat aktif, mahasiswa, mahasiswi berdiskusi di ruang kelas, di luar ruang kelas, di taman, ini sebuah fenomena yang bagi dia unimaginable sebelumnya. Lalu dia katakan, mengapa saya tidak tahu banyak tentang pendidikan Indonesia? Dan dia merasa mewakili sebagian besar European scholars, bahkan Muslim scholars di Eropa. Jawabannya, dan dia jawab sendiri, jawabannya adalah karena tidak banyak Indonesian scholars yang menulis tentang pendidikan Islam di Indonesia dalam publikasi-publikasi internasional. Sehingga sedikit sekali kesempatan dialog tentang pendidikan Islam di Indonesia. Kalaupun ada, banyak yang ditulis oleh peneliti dari luar di publikasi internasional. Nah, baru belakangan ini dengan munculnya kebijakan wajib Scopus, baru muncul hasil-hasil kajian tentang pendidikan Islam di Indonesia di pentas luar negeri, dan dia merasa sangat kurang sekali kajian tentang pendidikan Islam di Indonesia di media-media di luar. Karena itu dia sangat menyambut baik terbitnya Tarbiyah ini dan berharap lebih banyak scholars dari Indonesia yang bisa menulis di media-media internasional. Nah, ketika Tarbiyah ini kita buat, karena ini jurnal fakultas, maka pertanyaannya, ini jurnal tentang apa? Apa fokusnya? Dan ini juga menjadi pertanyaan ketika kita mau submit di Scopus. Satu sisi, karena jurnal fakultas dan fakultas ini menaungi sekian banyak program studi, maka jurnal ini harus mengakomodasi beragam program studi itu. Meskipun beberapa program studi sudah memiliki jurnal masing-masing, tetapi sebagai jurnal fakultas harus menaungi keragaman kajian di lintas program studi. Karena itu, kalau lihat skopnya, ini sangat luas, tetapi diikat oleh Muslim Society-nya. Jadi ada studies in social education, in science education, management education, teaching and learning, quality education, education development and society, educational leadership, educational technology, language education, philosophy of education, religious education, teacher education, and early childhood education. Hampir semua, dan saya kira walaupun mungkin tidak tercakup di sini, semua yang ada prodi di Fakultas Ilmu Tarbiyah dan Keguruan masuk dalam skop Tarbiyah. Tetapi walaupun temanya sepertinya generik, dia dibatasi oleh kajian ini menyangkut education in Muslim society. Bagaimana masyarakat Muslim mengembangkan pendidikan bagi umat Islam. Nah, saya mengundang saudara sekalian untuk submit di Jurnal Tarbiyah. Kenapa harus submit di Jurnal Tarbiyah? Ini jurnal kebanggaan Fakultas Ilmu Tarbiyah dan Keguruan. Sekarang kita sudah terakreditasi Sinta 2 dan ini tahun ini kita sedang melakukan reakreditasi. Mudah-mudahan posisinya tidak jauh berubah, tidak akan berubah. Dan kami sedang juga mengupayakan untuk submit di Scopus. Sudah submit sebetulnya, tapi masih menunggu hasil review dari pihak Scopus. Tarbiyah dipublish 2 kali dalam setahun, jadi punya kesempatan yang besar untuk muncul, untuk tampil. Dan untuk menjaga kualitasnya, Tarbiyah dilakukan blind review. Reviewnya ini blind review. Sehingga artikel yang muncul dipastikan sudah melalui review yang ketat oleh para reviewer. Bahkan berlapis itu. Jadi pertama review oleh editor untuk melihat layak atau tidak masuk atau tidak dalam skop jurnal Tarbiyah. Yang kedua review dari 2 orang expert melihat apakah ada hal yang perlu diperbaiki, perlu disempurnakan, perlu dilengkapi dan seterusnya. Baru kemudian dikembalikan ke author dan direvisi untuk publish. Dan kita sudah memiliki penulis dari 22 negara. Jadi artinya dilihat dari artikelnya, keinginan kami untuk menjadikan media ini sebagai media dialog pendidikan bagi peneliti atau akademisi lintas negara itu sudah terjadi. Sebagian merupakan paper yang dipresentasikan di ICEMS. Paper yang dipresentasikan di ICEMS, kemudian kita lihat layak untuk masuk ke jurnal, kita masukkan ke jurnal, tentu dengan penyesuaian dan perbaikan. Dan seperti tadi pernah disampaikan sebelumnya, kenapa nulis jurnal di jurnal Tarbiyah? Karena jurnal ini sudah diindeks oleh lembaga-lembaga database nasional dan internasional. Tadi sudah disebutkan sebelumnya. Artinya dengan menulis Tarbiyah, maka artikel kita mudah ditemukan oleh orang yang ingin melakukan penelitian di bidang yang kita kaji. Kenapa ini penting? Pertama, yang harusnya yang utama, kita dapat berbagi ide kita, hasil penelitian kita dengan orang di seluruh dunia. Sehingga ilmu kita, kerja kita bermanfaat bukan hanya buat angka kredit, bukan hanya buat kelengkapan administrasi, tapi yang terpenting, kerja kita, karya kita bermanfaat buat orang lain yang sedang melakukan penelitian atau melakukan kajian tentang bidang yang kita tekuni. Jadi yang utama adalah banyak negara yang bisa melihat, mengakses tulisan kita. Yang kedua, tentu saja dengan di indeks oleh national dan international database, maka kemungkinan tulisan kita disitasi oleh orang di dalam institusi dan di luar institusi, bahkan di luar negeri, kemungkinan untuk disitasinya sangat tinggi. Jadi ini akan berpengaruh kalau Anda mengejar indeks, Age Index atau H Index di Google Scholar, maupun nanti kalau Tarbiyah sudah masuk Scopus juga High Index di Scopus, maka ini akan berpengaruh karena di indeks di berbagai nasional dan international databases. Jadi dengan kriteria ini maka kita sangat berharap, kami sangat berharap bahwa makin banyak tulisan berkualitas yang bisa diterima oleh editor jurnal Tarbiyah ini. Nah, sekarang kita masuk ke bagaimana menulis yang baik untuk masuk ke jurnal Tarbiyah. Ini sebenarnya berlaku untuk semua jurnal, bukan hanya Tarbiyah. Pertama, tentu saja kita perlu ada identitas jurnal, ada title, ada abstrak, ada keywords. Sebuah informasi deskriptif yang memandu pembaca untuk mencari artikel. Kata kunci dalam abstrak itu sangat penting, karena itu yang akan membantu orang menemukan tulisan kita di mesin pencari. Nah, setelah ada title, author, abstract, dan keywords, tentu saja juga ada author affiliation di situ. Lalu kita masuk ke prinsip penulisan yang lazim dikenal di dunia akademik disebut dengan IMRAD. IMRAD. Apa itu IMRAD? IMRAD itu adalah kependekan dari introduction, methodology or methods, result, and discussion. Apa itu introduction? Nanti dijelaskan lebih lanjut. Introduction itu lebih menjelaskan why. Mengapa kita menulis tulisan ini? Mengapa kita melakukan penelitian ini? Mengapa kita mempresentasikan tulisan kita ini? Mengapa kita ingin tulisan ini dibaca orang? Mengapa kita harus melakukan penelitian ini? Jadi ada alasan ketika kita menulis ini, menghubungkan dengan tulisan-tulisan sebelumnya, memposisikan secara kontekstual tulisan yang kita tulis ini, dan mengantarkan pembaca pada pengantar apa yang hendak dicari lewat tulisan ini. Karena itu di introduction itu ada background, ada konteks, dan ada research question, serta ada objective of the research. Lalu ada method. Bagaimana cara kita menjawab pertanyaan penelitian itu? Dengan cara apa? Metode yang digunakan apa? Itu kira-kira begitu. Lalu apa yang kita peroleh? Apa data hasilnya? setelah ada metodenya, metode untuk mengumpulkan data, metode untuk menganalisa data, lalu kita mencari data, mengumpulkan data, kita akan mendapatkan data yang kita peroleh. Apa data yang kita miliki? Apa jawaban terhadap pertanyaan penelitian dari data yang kita miliki itu? Bagaimana cara kita membaca data dan eh, menjelaskan data itu? Lalu didiskusikan dengan teori yang relevan dan diambil kesimpulannya dan dilengkapi dengan eh, referensi. Karena itu, ketika kita mau mensubmit artikel, kita harus pastikan apakah tulisan kita sudah sesuai dengan scope jurnal atau tidak. Karena banyak orang yang submit ke jurnal tarbiyah, tapi tidak relevan dengan eh, konten dari jurnal tarbiyah itu, dari scope dari jurnal. Misalnya, belum lama ada yang mensubmit dari luar negeri itu artikel tentang status atau eh, perbedaan pendapat tentang female circumcision misalnya. Itu ada artikel yang nulis itu, tapi tidak ada eh, penjelasan aspek pedagogisnya. Itu memang tradisi di negara Muslim, tapi tidak ada penjelasan tentang aspek pedagogisnya, aspek educational policy dan seterusnya. Maka kita minta perbaiki dan ada yang tidak diperbaiki. Jadi pastikan bahwa tulisan yang kita tulis itu sesuai dengan scope jurnal atau jurnal tarbiyah. Yang jurnal tarbiyah skopnya adalah education in Muslim society. Bagaimana pendidikan di tengah masyarakat Muslim. Masyarakat Muslim itu tidak harus berada di negara Muslim. Masyarakat Muslim bisa saja ada di negara yang sekuler, tapi ada komunitas Muslim yang mungkin di situ minoritas dan mereka melakukan pendidikan buat anak-anaknya. Lalu ikuti aturan penulisan jurnal. Nanti lihat di Tarbiyah apa aturannya. Eh, Nanti akan disampaikan. Lalu ikuti proses submit jurnal sampai terbit. Nah, ada pengalaman kami di tim editor jurnal Tarbiyah ketika eh, ketika ada seseorang yang ingin diterbitkan artikelnya di jurnal Tarbiyah, lalu dia mengirimkan artikelnya ke jurnal Tarbiyah, diterima oleh editor, lalu di-review oleh editor, editor kembalikan ke penulis. Ada penulis yang sangat proaktif, senang ketika dikembalikan untuk diperbaiki, bukan dikembalikan untuk ditolak. Ketika dikembalikan untuk diperbaiki, penulis itu senang, antusias, dan melihat catatannya. Begitu juga ketika direview dan mendapat catatan dari reviewer, penulis ikuti. Meskipun banyak, jadi revisi kan ada minor, ada major. Eh, Ketika di review, penulis itu memperbaiki, mau itu minor, mau itu major diperbaiki sesuai dengan catatan dari reviewernya. Tapi ada juga yang begitu submit hanya mau terima jadi. Kita udah bekerja, udah submit, silakan saja. Mau diterima, diterima, mau ditolak, ditolak. Ada juga yang diterima, diberi catatan, diberi saran untuk perbaikan, diterima catatannya, diminta untuk perbaiki, diterima upaya perbaikannya, tapi kemudian tidak ada kiriman lagi, nggak dikirim kembali. Jadi ada orang-orang yang memang tidak sabar melihat coretan atau catatan pada karyanya. Padahal itu adalah bagian dari dialog akademis, bahwa reviewer memberikan catatan pada karya kita. Nah, lihat komponen pendahuluan. Pendahuluan harus mencantumkan latar belakang, permasalahan, gap penelitian terdahulu, dan gap analisisnya. Ada kebaruannya, apa yang kita tulis, ada teori yang akan digunakan, tujuan dan pertanyaan penelitian, serta harapan dan implikasi. latar belakang itu menjelaskan bagaimana tema ini menjadi penting, menjadi menarik untuk diteliti. Dia berangkat dari eh, kebutuhan real, tetapi didasarkan pada hasil studi. Jadi latar belakang itu tetap harus mencantumkan hasil kajian terhadap penelitian terdahulu. Jangan latar belakang itu hanya latar belakang pribadi saja. Di sekolah atau di madrasah, di pesantren, Anda punya pengalaman, lalu ditulis sebagai latar belakang. Itu sangat subjektif dan sangat sempit. Tapi coba buat latar belakang yang lebih objektif sehingga orang lebih tertarik untuk mengkaji. Lalu ada masalah utama dan ada eh, masalah yang mengikutnya saja. Jadi ada masalah yang ingin dijawab. Lalu ada ringkasan, lalu ada penelitian terdahulu. Kenapa penelitian terdahulu ada di pendahuluan? Karena kita ingin memastikan bahwa eh, yang kita tulis, yang kita teliti ini tetap berkaitan dengan teori-teori akademik. Jadi harus ada eh, kajian terhadap penelitian dan melihat bagaimana penelitian terdahulu itu menggunakan teori apa untuk menjelaskan hal yang sama dengan yang kita lakukan. Dari situlah nanti ketemu gap-nya. Beberapa penelitian sudah melakukan tentang kurikulum eh, pendidikan agama di sekolah misalnya. Ini temuannya A, temuannya B, temuannya C. Dan kita belum puas dengan semua temuan itu, lalu kita eh, mengadakan penelitian dengan melihat gap-nya. Gap-nya apa di situ? Yang tidak terekam, padahal mestinya terekam dengan baik. Lalu tentu saja sebuah penelitian harus punya novelty, kebaruan. Novelty dan kebaruan itu eh, bisa diperoleh setelah melihat poin yang di atasnya, yaitu ada eh, apa namanya gap. Gap inilah yang akan diisi oleh novelty atau kebaruan itu. Nah, untuk memperkuat analisis akademik tentu perlu teori pendukung. Bagaimana teori itu menjelaskan hubungan eh, antara data dengan teori. Kalau ada tujuan dan pertanyaan penelitian, untuk apa penelitian dilakukan, apa research questionnya, apa harapan dan implikasinya, dan seterusnya. Nah, inilah yang harus ada pada pendahuluan. Jadi penelitian itu bukan hanya secara cerita mengapa kita tertarik untuk menulis tentang hal itu, tapi cerita dengan sistematika yang jelas. Sehingga eh, pembacanya tahu dia sedang dibawa kemana oleh penulisnya. Apa yang harus ada pada pendahuluan? Pendahuluan itu harus ada paragraf yang membahas permasalahan khusus yang menjadi pembahasan judul penelitian, yaitu tadi research background. Ada paragraf yang harus memiliki eh, argumentasi, penyajian penelitian terdahulu. Jadi penelitian terdahulu apa, temuannya apa, argumennya apa. Lalu ada paragraf tentang argumentasi peneliti sendiri dan novelty penelitian itu. Novel itu adalah kebaruan dari penelitian itu. Lalu harus ada pernyataan dari pembahasan tujuan penelitian di akhir pendahuluan. Jadi di akhir baru di pendahuluan dijelaskan tujuan ini ditulis untuk ini dan seterusnya. Nah, bagaimana kita menemukan ini sering menjadi pertanyaan. Bagaimana kita menemukan research gap penelitian untuk eh, kita pahami, untuk kita temukan di mana research gap-nya itu. Apa itu research gap? Itu adalah celah keilmuan, masalah atau pertanyaan yang belum terjawab oleh penelitian sebelumnya. Gap muncul karena hasil riset berbeda, ruang lingkup berbeda, metode berbeda, dan isu baru yang diteliti. Jadi ada gap itu karena eh, mungkin yang diteliti objeknya sama, tapi dia menggunakan teori yang berbeda. Karena itu ada gap. Mungkin eh, apa namanya kebijakan-kebijakan pendidikan itu disosialisasikan dan dipahami, tapi dipahaminya hanya oleh sebagian guru. Nah, itu juga gap. Bagaimana kita menemukan gap penelitian itu? Pertama, telusuri saran penelitian pada riset sebelumnya. Ketika kita meneliti atau mengkaji hasil penelitian orang, kita akan lihat eh, penelitian ini diharapkan demikian atau untuk penelitian lanjutan harus penelitian ini dan seterusnya. Jadi lihat saran pada penelitian sebelumnya, bandingkan hasil antara studi yang sama sejenis, lalu review atau main analysis untuk melihat celah yang belum dilakukan. Akhirnya menunjukkan apa yang belum dilakukan orang lain sehingga riset kita menjadi penting. Jadi kalau dari pertanyaan generalnya, dari sisi ilmu, dari sisi praktek, eh, bagian mana dari pengetahuan ini yang belum dicapai, yang belum atau belum dirumuskan. Baik, eh, bagaimana kita menunjukkan novelty penelitian? Novel itu adalah unsur kebaruan. Ada objek yang baru, ada metode yang baru, konteks yang baru, teori yang baru, interpretasi yang baru, dan seterusnya. Untuk mengatakan bahwa penelitian ini membawa sesuatu yang belum diketahui orang sebelumnya. Menjelaskan novelty itu ada di pendahuluan, gap, ada di pembahasan, hasil penelitian dan penelitian sebelumnya, eh, dan itu menunjukkan keragaman dari pendidikan Islam. Menjelaskannya ini tadi sudah kita sampaikan. Baik, Bapak Ibu sekalian, kita lanjutkan. Ini ada sedikit ginjala, kendala.
Mohon maaf, waktunya 5 menit lagi, Bro.
Oh, siap, siap.
Ya,
Tadi
oke.
sudah pendahuluan, saya kira tidak banyak lagi nih. Kemudian novelty sudah. Lalu metode. Metode ini saya kira Bapak Ibu sudah paham bagaimana desain dan subjek penelitian, teknik pengumpulan data, teknik analisis data itu harus ada dalam artikel kita. Saya ingin ke hasil dan pembahasan ini juga harus dimunculkan di paper kita, lalu ada diskusi, pastikan diskusi itu menggunakan teori yang kita sudah munculkan. Eh, Nah, saya ingin ngasih melihat catatan pada apa yang sering kita temukan sebagai kesalahan atau kekurangan dari sebuah artikel. Pertama, tidak ada novelty-nya, tidak lihat, jadi penelitiannya hanya deskriptif, hanya menjelaskan sesuatu, tidak ada eh, sesuatu yang ingin dijawab atau ingin dieksplorasi. Topiknya terlalu generik, banyak kesamaan dengan artikel lain. Dampak artikel lemah tidak punya manfaat bagi pengembangan ilmu. Tidak relevan antara tujuan, metode, dan hasil. Jadi tujuannya apa, metode yang digunakan bagaimana, hasilnya bagaimana, itu eh, tidak relevan. Metode bisa sama, tapi juga hati-hati kalau instrumennya menjadi tidak original. Referensinya kurang kuat, citasi terbatas, bahasa dan penyajian hasil lemah, lalu simpulan masih konseptual, belum berbasis analisis. Nah, terakhir, ini yang ingin saya sampaikan. Kenapa artikel diterima dan kenapa artikel ditolak? Artikel diterima ketika penulis kooperatif untuk mengikuti gaya selingkung jurnal. Nah, ini namanya gaya selingkung. Aturan jurnal itu urutannya seperti apa, komposisinya seperti apa, harus diikuti oleh penulis. Jangan mentang-mentang ini penelitian bagus, penting, tapi menulis enaknya tidak seragam dengan aturan jurnal. Nah, itu rawan untuk tidak diterima. Tapi yang kooperatif itu yang diterima. penulis melakukan revisi artikel sesuai masukan editor dan reviewer dan tepat pada waktunya. Penulis menerima masukan dan kritik, artikelnya memang layak diterbitkan dan sesuai dengan skop jurnal. Lalu kenapa artikel banyak yang ditolak? Ada plagiarisme di situ atau hasil AI yang berada di ambang batas yang wajar, tidak mencerminkan artikel ilmiah, minim data dan referensi. Banyak tulisan yang dikirim ke kami itu hanya opini saja, tidak ada referensinya, tidak ada datanya, hanya opini saja. Dia melakukan tulisan yang reflektif. Kita tidak mengatakan itu tidak baik, itu baik buat pembaca di forum yang berbeda. Tapi untuk jurnal itu tidak bisa kita muat karena tidak berdasarkan data dan tidak ada teori yang digunakan. Ada penulis yang tadi saya sebutkan sudah direview, dikembalikan ke penulis, lalu penulis tidak kunjung melakukan revisi. Padahal editor reviewer itu sudah meluangkan waktu loh menghargai penulis dengan membaca dan mereview. Begitu direview tidak mau diperbaiki. Entah karena terlalu banyak perbaikannya atau terlalu sulit perbaikannya atau memang tidak punya waktu. Pembahasan artikel sudah banyak dibahas, tidak ada novelty-nya, dan penulis melakukan pelanggaran etika publikasi. Jadi ketika ada pelanggaran etika publikasi, dia publish di jurnal ini dan publish juga jurnal lain, maka dia akan ditolak. Itu saya kira Pak Rafiq, apa yang selayaknya atau seharusnya diperhatikan oleh para penulis jurnal, terutama untuk masuk ke jurnal tarbiyah. Demikian yang bisa saya sampaikan, mudah-mudahan bermanfaat dan nanti pada waktunya kita bisa melakukan tanya jawab. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih, Prof. Alhamdulillah materinya sangat menarik bagi kita dan seharusnya ini menjadi panduan bagi kita. Makanya tadi disampaikan oleh Profesor Yulti bahwa mentang-mentang penelitiannya udah bagus, tapi ternyata tidak mengikuti selingkung yang ada di jurnal yang kita tuju, ya biasanya ya tidak dipublish ya karena memang tidak sesuai. Ya, artinya memang kita harus sesuai dengan aturan, sesuai dengan tradisi yang ada di masing-masing jurnal. Oke, untuk selanjutnya kita akan mendengarkan paparan dari Ibu Dina Rahma Fadila yang akan menyampaikan kalau tadi jurnal Tarbiyah Jurnal, kalau yang sekarang adalah EduScience Jurnal. Untuk itu kami persilahkan kepada Ibu Dina untuk menyampaikan materinya maksimal 30 menit ya. Barangkali nanti kita bisa diskusi lebih lanjut. Monggo silakan Bu Dina, silakan.
Baik, terima kasih Bapak Dr. Ainur Rafiq atas kesempatannya. Sebelumnya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang terhormat Ibu Dekan, Ibu Profesor Siti Nurul Azkia, MSc PhD, kemudian jajarannya Ibu Wadek 1, Ibu Dr. Yanti Harlanti, Bapak Wadek 2, Bapak Dr. Yudi Munadi, SAGMAG, dan Ibu Wadek 3, Ibu Salamah Agung MA PhD, dan moderator Bapak Dr. Ainur Rafiq. Terima kasih atas kesempatannya beserta panitia, dan yang saya hormati juga narasumber yang pertama Bapak Profesor Muhammad Zuhdi. Mohon izin untuk menyampaikan materi terkait how to write in EduScience. Untuk itu mohon izin saya share screen Bapak Ibu. Apakah sudah terlihat share screen dari saya? Mohon izin.
Sudah.
Ya.
Sudah.
Baik. Jadi hampir sama dengan jurnal Tarbiyah, bahwa jurnal EduScience ini juga merupakan salah satu jurnal yang terdapat di Fakultas Ilmu Tarbiyah dan Keguruan Universitas UIN, Universitas Islam Negeri Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta. Nah, perbedaannya adalah yang pertama, pasti EduScience ini memiliki karakteristik tersendiri, yaitu dari profilnya ya, profil dan scope. Kalau misalnya tadi tarbiyah, skopnya adalah mengenai pendidikan Islam, seperti itu. Nah, EduScience, dari namanya juga sudah terlihat ya, bahwa kami merupakan jurnal yang fokus terhadap pendidikan IPA. Pendidikan IPA ini meliputi pendidikan biologi, pendidikan fisika, pendidikan kimia, dan pendidikan IPA itu sendiri. Dan untuk tingkatan sekolahnya, kami membatasi sampai pada tingkatan SMP atau MTS. Jadi, kalau misalnya ada kaitannya dengan IPA, tapi itu IPA SD, nah itu akan kami sarankan biasanya untuk menerbitkannya di jurnal lain yang memang fokus di tingkatan SD. Nah, jadi EduScience itu merupakan jurnal yang tadi sudah disampaikan ya, yang mempublish pendidikan biologi, pendidikan fisika, pendidikan kimia, pendidikan IPA, dan sama dengan tarbiyah ini dilaksanakan dengan blind peer review. Jadi di reviewnya secara tidak diketahui antara autor dengan reviewer maupun reviewer dengan autor. Seperti itu. Nah, adapun topik-topik pada pendidikan biologi, fisika, kimia, serta IPA, itu skupnya, spesifiknya bisa dilihat di sini Bapak Ibu, bahwa kami menerima yang berkaitan dengan kurikulum pastinya, kemudian berkaitan dengan proses pembelajaran, bahkan kami juga menerima yang berkaitan dengan persiapan guru-guru biologi, fisika, kimia. Jadi kalau misalnya penelitiannya itu berkaitan mengenai mahasiswa yang apa namanya bersiap menjadi guru biologi, guru fisika, guru kimia itu jika memang skup penekanannya berkaitan dengan skup kami itu akan kami terima seperti itu. Kemudian kalau misalnya objek penelitiannya juga merupakan mahasiswa yang melaksanakan micro teaching seperti itu ya. Untuk pendidikan biologi, fisika, kimia itu juga masuk ke skup kami di topik yang pre-service science teachers gitu. Kemudian yang ketiga, topik selanjutnya adalah mengenai kebijakan-kebijakan yang berkaitan dengan pendidikan biologi, pendidikan fisika, pendidikan kimia, dan pendidikan IPA. Dan karena betul ya, apa namanya, sejalan dengan tarbiyah, kami di Sinta 2 pastinya, bukan pastinya ya, pasti semua tuh maunya meningkat gitu ke tingkatan yang lebih baik. Oleh karena itu, kami juga berusaha untuk ke depannya tuh ada step-step yang kami lalui untuk kami submit ke Scopus. Nah, oleh karena itu kami memasukkan topik yang dimana menjadi ciri khas kami dari jurnal-jurnal pembelajaran yang lainnya. Jadi pasti banyak ya jurnal pembelajaran yang lainnya yang mengakomodir pendidikan fisika, pendidikan kimia, pendidikan biologi seperti itu. Nah, tapi ciri khas kami adalah di topik yang terakhir ini apabila proses atau apabila topik-topik atau penelitian atau penulisan karya ilmiah Bapak Ibu gitu ya sudah mencakup 3 topik ini dan ditambah dengan integrasi yaitu berupa local wisdom, kemudian Islamic ethics ke dalam tadi ya pendidikan biologi, pendidikan fisika, pendidikan IPA, pendidikan kimia itu akan kami prioritaskan dalam arti apa ya, peluangnya lebih besar untuk kami terima di untuk diterbitkan di jurnal EduScience ini. Dan ini menjadi ciri khas kami ketika nanti kalau misalnya untuk mengajukan atau menaikkan tingkat ke Scopus, bahwa ciri khas kami adalah proses pembelajaran yang berintegrasi dengan local wisdom serta Islamic ethic ini. Seperti itu. Dan sama halnya dengan seluruh jurnal, termasuk tarbiyah juga, bahwa kalau misalnya di point of view science tuh, metode ilmiah, jurnal, penerbitan karya ilmiah Bapak Ibu gitu ya, itu termasuk wadah komunikasi ya. Di metode ilmiah tuh ada terakhir step komunikasi yang dimana pekerjaan Bapak Ibu kalau misalnya mau apa ya, mau bermanfaat untuk banyak orang seperti itu ya. Nah, itu proses komunikasi inilah yang menjadi ajang eh, karya ilmiah Bapak Ibu bermanfaat untuk banyak orang. Seperti itu. Nah, ini adalah tim inti dari EduScience. Ada Prof. Dr. Zulfiani SSI MPD sebagai Editor in Chief, ada Ibu Fatih Alatas MSI sebagai Managing Editor, ada saya sendiri sebagai Section Editor, ada Bapak Solihin juga sebagai Section Editor, ada Ibu Rizky Nursolihat MPD juga sebagai Section Editor, dan ada Ibu Dila Fairusi MSI juga sebagai Section Editor. Ini tim inti yang memproses naskah-naskah yang masuk ke EduScience seperti itu. Dan kenapa di EduScience gitu ya? Karena yang pertama si EduScience sudah berstatus atau terakreditasi Sinta 2 dan alhamdulillah sama dengan Tarbiyah sekarang sedang melalui proses reakreditasi. Semoga minimal EduScience ini bertahan ya. Besar harapan kami untuk EduScience ini tetap bertahan di Sinta 2. Dan kenapa juga harus di EduScience? Karena citasi EduScience cukup banyak ya, dari tahun 2017 terus menanjak apalagi semenjak jurnal itu sudah dioperasikan melalui jurnal sistem secara online seperti itu yang kita kenal dengan OJS. Nah, itu kesempatan atau peluang citasi kebermaknaan karya ilmiah Bapak Ibu ketika diterbitkan itu menjadi lebih besar. Kemudian kalau dilihat dari perkembangan di EduScience, alhamdulillah dari 2017 sampai 2023 ini sempat meningkat. Nah, dari 2003 sampai 2025 ini sempat menurun karena terdapat transisi-transisi yang ada di EduScience ya. Sehingga terlihat menurun, tapi mudah-mudahan untuk di 2025 ini dan next-nya itu akan meningkat kembali untuk citasi EduScience seperti itu. Dan lagi-lagi kenapa harus EduScience? Ini ada beberapa status H-index karya ilmiah yang sudah terbit di EduScience sehingga Bapak Ibu bisa mempercayakan EduScience menjadi wadah publikasi karya ilmiah Bapak Ibu seperti itu. Nah, ini adalah workflow dari pemrosesan naskah. Jadi kalau misalnya Bapak Ibu ingin menerbitkan jurnal atau menerbitkan manuskrip Bapak Ibu, menerbitkan karya ilmiah Bapak Ibu di jurnal EduScience, ini langkah-langkahnya dan apa saja yang harus dilakukan oleh Bapak Ibu seperti itu ya. Yang fokus untuk autor adalah 3 step ini Bapak Ibu. Jadi dari beberapa step pemrosesan naskah dari Bapak Ibu submit hingga terbit itu ada 3 tahapan. Di tahapan-tahapan workflow ini yang sangat melibatkan Bapak Ibu sebagai penulis seperti itu ya. Jadi yang pertama itu adalah Bapak Ibu mensubmit, pastinya ya, mensubmit artikel atau karya ilmiah Bapak Ibu. Kemudian setelah submit, nanti itu akan ada proses pekerjaan dari tim editorial. Kemudian kalau misalnya di proses cek awal itu sebenarnya potensi untuk terbit, tapi untuk kesalahan teknisnya itu masih banyak. Nah, itu terkadang kami sebelum ke reviewer akan mengembalikan naskah tersebut ke Bapak Ibu terlebih dahulu, gitu ya. Akan mengembalikan ke ke Bapak Ibu terlebih dahulu. untuk diperbaiki. Nah, ini betul ya, ini kayaknya menjadi problem di semua jurnal ketika ada proses korespondensi antara tim redaktur jurnal dengan autor, itu seringkali autor apa namanya, kurang bisa diajak bekerja sama gitu, kurang kooperatif. Sehingga, sama seperti tarbiyah di EduScience juga salah satu faktor atau salah satu hal yang menjadi alasan kami menerima artikel adalah kekooperatifan autor, seperti itu. Nah, jadi kembali lagi ke sini Bapak Ibu, setelah submit kalau misalnya dinilai memang potensi tapi masih banyak kesalahan, itu kadang kami, kembalikan dulu ke Bapak Ibu dan itu kami menunggu perbaikan. Setelah perbaikannya cukup, dari teknis seperti, plagiarisme, kemudian jumlah kata, kemudian, substansi dasar dari metode itu cukup untuk diproses ke reviewer, itu kami akan, kirim ke reviewer dan, menunggu hasil review dari reviewer. Nah, dari hasil reviewer ini nanti akan kembali lagi kepada tim redaktur akan kembali ke author untuk diperbaiki lagi. Jadi memang di semua jurnal ya, author tuh harus sabar gitu. Harus sabar, melalui proses-proses ini karena, di akhir itu kan ketika Bapak Ibu mensubmit jurnal akan dipublikasikan gitu ya. Artinya ya tadi, esensi publikasi kan berarti karya ilmiah Bapak Ibu itu akan dijadikan sitasi, akan dijadikan dasar dari, penelitian yang lain. Nah, aspek-aspek metode ilmiah itu sangat dijunjung tinggi ya, salah satunya adalah integritas gitu. Bagaimana kami, tim jurnal menyeleksi, memproses seperti itu ya, agar yang terpublikasi itu adalah, informasi-informasi yang valid, informasi-informasi yang bisa dipercaya, informasi-informasi yang dapat dipertanggungjawabkan gitu. Jadi, betul yang tadi Pak Zuhdi udah, sampaikan ya, sudah sampaikan bahwa sebenarnya kalau misalnya naskah tuh dikembalikan untuk diperbaiki harusnya seneng gitu ya author. Karena itu, karena, eee eee, apa namanya, Bapak Ibu mendapatkan evaluasi di mana yang nantinya karya Bapak Ibu itu akan diterbitkan untuk, menjadi karya yang, berkualitas, yang dapat dipertanggungjawabkan ketika digunakan oleh orang lain, seperti itu. Nah, ini jadi kalau misalnya Bapak Ibu memang, mempercayakan EduScience, menjadi wadah publikasi, mohon dengan sangat pada proses korespondensi, seperti itu ya, korespondensi antara tim redaktur dengan autor itu sangat dimohon untuk kooperatif. Nah, nanti ketika memang sudah, oke seperti itu ya, tahapan naskah itu akan masuk ke proses editing. Di editing itu nanti naskah di-layout sebagaimana, yang nantinya akan ditampilkan pada website, seperti itu. Nah, untuk proses terakhir, ini ada keterlibatan Bapak Ibu juga untuk Bapak Ibu mengecek apakah data yang nantinya akan ditampilkan itu sudah oke, sudah sesuai. Nah, kalau misalnya di sini autor, pastinya sudah lega dan senang karena memang sudah ke tahap akhir untuk publikasi. Nah, biasanya di sini korespondensinya sudah tidak lagi menjadi masalah gitu karena memang sudah tinggal mengecek data. Nah, jadi, yang saya tekankan sebagai pengelola jurnal EduScience, kalau misalnya memang Bapak Ibu nantinya mempercayakan EduScience terhadap, menjadi wadah, komunikasi artikel Bapak Ibu sekalian, mohon bersabar untuk diproses yang, kedua ini, yang pada saat korespondensi antara autor dan, redaktur, seperti itu. Nah, ini strukturnya juga sama ya dengan tarbiyah beserta esensi-esensi pada setiap bagian. Tadi Prof. Zudi sudah menjelaskannya secara gamblang seperti itu. Ketika di introduction, itu apa saja yang harusnya dituliskan, metode apa saja yang dituliskan, kemudian result and discussion, conclusion. Nah, kalau misalnya Bapak Ibu untuk terlaksananya penelitian yang dipublikasikan itu memang disupport dari pihak lain dan ingin menyampaikan rasa terima kasihnya, itu ada bagian acknowledgement juga kalau misalnya di susunan atau struktur artikel EduScience. Dan ini kalau misalnya dari introduction sampai acknowledgement itu kan isi dari apa ya, struktur dari mulainya tulisan Bapak Ibu. Nah, nanti dari keseluruhan introduction sampai acknowledgement ini kan akan dikemas gitu, seperti itu, akan dikemas secara ringkas untuk bagaimana pembaca itu mereview apakah tulisan Bapak Ibu nih sesuai dengan yang dibutuhkan oleh pembaca gitu ya. Nah, itu biasanya bentuk gitu ya, akan dikemas menjadi yang namanya abstrak dan keywords gitu. Nah, di EduScience abstrak itu tersusun atas beberapa bagiannya, khusus yang mencakup poin kedua sampai poin kelima. Jadi kalau misalnya abstrak ini memang di beberapa jurnal juga terdapat perbedaan karakter dan ciri khas ya Bapak Ibu ya. Ada yang misalnya abstrak itu line pertamanya tuh langsung tujuan gitu. Tapi di EduScience ini sudah beberapa waktu belakangan ini susunan dari abstrak tuh satu dua kalimat di awal harus mencantumkan atau sebaiknya menjelaskan introduction atau apa ya, latar belakang mengenai penelitian atau mengenai karya tulis Bapak Ibu. 1 sampai 2 kalimat. Setelah itu baru tujuan, setelah itu metode, result and discussion sampai ke conclusion dan implikasi. Conclusionnya di sini yang dimaksud sampai implikasi. Nah, abstrak yang di EduScience buat tuh biasanya susunannya seperti itu. Nah, untuk lebih lanjut, mohon izin menampilkan author guidelines yang lebih jelas. Jadi Bapak Ibu kalau misalnya mau menerbitkan jurnal di EduScience, Bapak Ibu bisa mengakses jurnal kami di sebentar. Di alamat website ini ya Bapak Ibu ya, URL ini https journal.winjkt.ac.id indeks php eduscience. Di sini klik. Nah, nanti ya Bapak Ibu akan dihantarkan di halaman beranda atau home ya dari Jurnal EduScience. Nah, Bapak Ibu ketika Bapak Ibu sudah mempunyai akun, Bapak Ibu bisa login. Tapi kalau misalnya belum mempunyai akun, ini menu-menu yang standar ya Bapak Ibu ya, jika Bapak Ibu ingin mensubmit ke suatu jurnal. Jadi Bapak Ibu pilih register jika Bapak Ibu belum memiliki akun. Kalau misalnya sudah memiliki akun login, jadi misalnya register, Bapak Ibu memasukkan data yang harus diisi oleh Bapak Ibu. Kemudian nanti kalau sudah mempunyai akun, Bapak Ibu login. Nah, nanti kalau misalnya ingin mengetahui lebih lanjut mengenai apa saja yang harus dipenuhi oleh Bapak Ibu untuk publish di Jurnal EduScience, pada beranda ini ada menu author guidelines yang sebelah sini. Nanti Bapak Ibu klik, itu nanti akan secara lengkap informasi-informasi mengenai bagaimana seharusnya Bapak Ibu menyusun setiap bagian yang tercantum pada artikel. Bapak Ibu juga bisa download template yang kami gunakan sehingga Bapak Ibu, nah ini di-download, Bapak Ibu bisa mengikuti penulisan berdasarkan template yang sudah kami sediakan. Nah, kurang lebihnya seperti ini. Nah, jadi dari judul artikel, judul penelitian, begitu ya, informasi-informasi yang wajib untuk dicantumkan di template ini. Nah, untuk nomor telepon WA, memang di template kami sediakan Bapak Ibu untuk mencantumkan nomor. Namun pada saat publish itu kami menghilangkan nomor WA, hanya alamat email. Karena kalau misalnya kenapa di template itu kami memasukkan data WA untuk Bapak Ibu isi itu untuk memudahkan komunikasi ketika korespondensi. Seperti itu karena kalau misalnya orang Indonesia tuh masih aware-nya tuh terhadap ini ya, alat komunikasi handphone ya. Kalau misalkan orang luar negeri mungkin sudah email oriented gitu karena mereka bekerja pasti yang pertama dicek tuh email gitu ya. Nah, kalau orang Indonesia karena belum seperti itu, maka di sini kami memasukkan meminta informasi WA di template seperti itu. Nah, ini untuk ukuran hurufnya juga bisa diikuti oleh Bapak Ibu, di mana di abstrak, kalau untuk judulnya fontnya 11, secara keseluruhan font yang digunakan adalah Times New Roman, ini ukurannya A4, kemudian untuk isi dari abstraknya itu fontnya 10, dan seterusnya. Bisa diikuti oleh Bapak Ibu. Dan ini, mohon maaf Bapak Ibu, ini karena kami sedang proses reakreditasi, untuk website belum kami ubah bukan secara besar-besaran. Ada beberapa hal yang belum kami ubah karena sedang proses reakreditasi. Nah, ke depannya template ini akan kami perbaharui karena kenapa? Karena EduScience itu untuk isi dari manuskripnya sudah full English. Jadi kalau misalnya ini masih memakai kata pendahuluan, kedepannya nanti akan kami sesuaikan mengikuti bahasa Inggris gitu ya. Jadi ini akan kami ganti introduction, selanjutnya metode-method, dan seterusnya. Seperti itu. Nah, tapi Bapak Ibu, di sini saya sampaikan gitu ya, kalau misalnya memang sekali lagi mempercayai EduScience untuk menjadi wadah mempublikasikan karya ilmiah Bapak Ibu bisa langsung mengubahnya menjadi introduction, kemudian isinya itu memang harus sudah berbahasa Inggris. Seperti itu. Oke, nah minimal dari manuskrip Bapak Ibu adalah 3.000 kata ya untuk di EduScience. Jadi kalau misalnya ini menjadi hal yang tadi Prof. Zuhdi katakan atau sampaikan tuh gaya selingkung. Kalau tadi Tarbia mungkin gaya selingkungnya kata yang digunakan tuh minimal 4.000, kalau di EduScience 3.000 ya Bapak Ibu ya. 3.000 kata itu tidak termasuk referensi gitu ya. Tidak termasuk referensi. Kemudian di bagian result and discussion atau di bagian metode, jika Bapak Ibu ada tabel yang dimasukkan, cara memilih atau cara Bapak Ibu menggunakan tabelnya adalah seperti ini, tanpa ada garis kolom. Jadi hanya garis baris gitu ya. Untuk selebihnya nanti bisa diikuti berdasarkan keterangan yang ada di template ini. Selanjutnya, untuk data-data yang berupa angka, jika ada koma, di template ini gaya selingkung kami tidak menggunakan koma, melainkan titik. Seperti itu, sehingga jika angka-angka tersebut bergabung atau dideskripsikan di result and discussion ataupun di bagian-bagian yang lain, itu tidak bias dengan tanda baca koma. Seperti itu ya Bapak Ibu ya. Nah, nah ini seringkali menjadi apa namanya pertanyaan atau layout apa hal yang sebenarnya simpel gitu, tapi itu harus kami pertahankan karena itu adalah gaya selingkuh kami. Nah, ini kalau misalkan di sini adalah muncul koma, itu mungkin ini kan diambilnya dari Excel ya Bapak Ibu. Nanti kalau misalnya Bapak Ibu biasa bekerja dengan Excel, itu nanti di Excel ada pengaturan apakah poinnya itu harus titik atau koma. Nah, itu harus diatur titik. Kalau saya ini di komputer saya pengaturannya koma, jadi yang terlihat oleh Bapak Ibu adalah koma. Tapi di desain sendiri untuk data-data angka itu ketika ada koma misalnya 0,5 atau di sini 75,98 itu komanya adalah berupa titik. Dan seterusnya sampai kepada reference. Nah, reference ini kami menggunakan apa style. Jadi mohon Bapak Ibu dan wajib untuk menggunakan reference manager. Bisa Mendeley ataupun Zotero seperti itu. Nah, nanti di reference manager itu mohon diatur bahwa style yang digunakan untuk reference-nya adalah apa. Seperti itu. Saya kembali ke PowerPoint. Nah, jadi demikian bagaimana cara atau ketika Bapak Ibu ingin publish di jurnal EduScience. Saya kembalikan ke moderator. Bapak Nur Bapak Ainur Rafiq.
Ya, Bu.
Ya, sudah selesai. Saya kembalikan ke Bapak, Pak.
Oke, terima kasih. Oke, terima kasih Bu Dina yang telah menyampaikan materinya. Kita masih ada waktu sekitar 16 menit ya, karena kita sampai di jam 11.30. Bagi para peserta, terkait dengan diskusi kita, misalnya mau menyampaikan lewat chat juga bisa, kalau langsung juga bisa. Nah, ketika ada yang bertanya secara langsung, barangkali bisa raise hand dulu, kemudian nanti bisa bertanya kepada narasumber ini. Tapi nanti kami mohon ditujukan siapa, misalnya ke Profesor Duti atau ke Bu Dina gitu ya. Jadi biar jelas ya. Mohon izin juga untuk Bu Dina, barangkali materinya bisa di-share biar nanti kawan-kawan peserta bisa melihat meskipun melihatnya waktu di rumah dan sebagainya. Oke, saya persilahkan bagi kawan-kawan, bagi para peserta yang ingin bertanya atau ingin menyampaikan terkait dengan materi ini, dipersilahkan. Monggo, silahkan. Silahkan raise hand dulu. Bagi yang ingin bertanya, silahkan raise hand. Silahkan. Saya lihat belum ada ini ya. Belum ada yang raise hand. Oh, oke, ini ada dari Bu Lamha, Bapak Lamha ini. Karena tidak kelihatan gambarnya, jadi kita nggak tahu ini laki-laki atau perempuan ini ya. Pak Lamha apa
Ibu,
Bu Lamha?
Bapak.
Oh iya, iya. Oh ternyata Bu Lamha. Monggo dipersilakan
Assalamualaikum.
barangkali bisa memperkenalkan diri Bu sebelum menyampaikan mungkin nama dari mana gitu. Ditujukan kepada Profesor Zuti apa kepada Bu Dina. Monggo dipersilakan Bu Lamha.
Baik, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
dari S3 Pak. Kemudian yang ingin saya tanyakan tadi ada beberapa ketentuan-ketentuan ya Pak. Apakah
Ya.
yang tadi saya simak sekilas itu tentang itu Pak, penulisan itu minimal atau maksimal 3.000 kata itu minimal? atau maksimal? Yang kedua, kalau misalkan mengenai abstrak tadi, Pak, bahwasanya abstrak itu kan biasanya itu ada juga ketentuannya gitu, Pak. Misalkan dari kalimat-kalimat tertentu apa yang dijadikan yang jadi warning gitu loh, yang jadi warning itu apa saja. Dan kemudian untuk ketika tadi menjadi autor kemudian dikembalikan itu kan bagian daripada apakah karena memang misalkan menurut auditor itu tadi kurang apa ya, kurang tepat atau apa misalkan gitu, Pak. Terima kasih.
Oke, terima kasih Bu Lamha ya. Ini kayaknya ditujukan ke Profesor Zuti ya, karena ada angkanya 3.000 tadi. Monggo dipersilakan Profesor Zuti untuk
Baik.
memberikan tanggapan.
Makasih Bu Lama, ini mahasiswa S3 PAI yang aktif ini. Em, Pertama, jumlah kata di tiap tulisan itu kan tadi antara ya, sekitar 1.000 sampai 3.000 dan seterusnya. Itu namanya sekitar itu tidak eh, terlalu kaku kita menerapkannya. Kalau kurang sedikit selama tidak mempengaruhi substansi bisa diterima. Kalau lebih sedikit ya lebih, misalnya 3.000 terus dikirimnya 3.010 ya masih kita terima juga. Yang penting kan kenapa harus ada batasan jumlah kata itu, karena kita ingin jurnal itu informatif. Jadi nulis jurnal bukan seperti nge-tweet atau nulis pesan di WhatsApp yang singkat. Dia harus informatif, banyak informasinya memadai. Tetapi juga tidak eh, overloaded, tidak berlebihan, sehingga orang membacanya butuh waktu yang lama. Jadi kita ingin membaca jurnal itu eh, butuh waktu mungkin 15 menit sampai setengah jam bisa selesai dan mendapatkan intisari yang disampaikan oleh penulis. Karena itu ada batasannya, tidak boleh terlalu panjang juga supaya tidak terlalu banyak pesan yang disampaikan dan bisa ditangkap dengan baik oleh pembaca. Jadi angka itu tadi itu angka ancer-ancer yang tidak saklek persis seperti itu, harus sekian persisnya, tapi kurang sedikit kita maklumi selama informasinya cukup memadai, lebih sedikit kita terima selama tidak berlebihan. Itu yang pertama. Yang kedua, abstrak itu bukan sekedar deskripsi, memang abstrak itu harus mencakup eh, informasi yang sangat substansial dari artikel itu. Jadi dengan membaca abstrak, Ibu sudah tahu bahwa tema besar artikel itu adalah demikian, pertanyaan yang ingin dijawab adalah ini, metode yang digunakan adalah demikian, eh, dan gambaran umum tentang hasilnya adalah demikian. Jadi ada sedikit latar belakang, ada research questionnya atau tema penelitiannya, ada metode yang digunakan secara singkat, dan ada hasil secara singkat saja hasil. Jadi di spill sedikit hasilnya untuk pembaca punya gambaran. Oh, artikel ini temanya ini, temuannya ini. Nah, ketika kita tertarik untuk mendalami, kita akan membaca itu. Dan tentu saja yang tidak kalah pentingnya adalah kata kunci atau keyword yang harus disampaikan. Nah, itu eh, tentang abstrak. Yang ketiga apa tadi, Pak Rafiq?
Oh tadi ya, saya juga lupa. Eh, Bahasanya kayaknya Pak, ya, bahasa terkait dengan bahasanya.
Ya, Bu Lamha boleh ulang yang ketiga tadi apa?
Ya, Bu
Baik,
Lama.
Pak. Terkait dengan tadi tuh, Pak, ketika dikembalikan ke
Oh,
autor gitu, iya,
hmm.
Pak. Bagaimana apa memang tidak memenuhi persyaratan dari apa yang menjadi eh,
Oh iya ya,
kewajiban atau
baik saya tangkap.
penulis itu, gitu gimana, Pak?
Eh, Dikembalikan itu ada dua, Bu. Ini yang saya harus garis bawahi yang Bu Dina tadi sampaikan. ketika dikembalikan dengan catatan sebaiknya Anda cari jurnal yang lain. Nah, itu berarti ditolak secara halus. Dan itu rasanya sakit banget gitu. Tapi kalau dikembalikan dengan catatan mohon perbaiki, itu artinya diterima, Bu. Hampir seluruh jurnal, hampir ya seluruh jurnal, tidak ada yang diterima tanpa syarat. Kan Ibu juga menerima pasti dengan syarat. Syaratnya harus setia, harus jujur gitu ya. Nah, editor jurnal juga nerima dengan syarat. Syaratnya ada saja perbaikan yang harus. Jadi kalau eh, itu sebetulnya bukan dikembalikan istilahnya, diminta untuk melakukan perbaikan. Nah, perbaikan itu ada yang minor, ada yang major. Jadi ketika seorang reviewer itu diminta untuk mereview sebuah artikel, itu pilihannya kan ada eh, tiga minimal. Ada empat lah, empat pilihan. Pertama, yang paling tinggi adalah accepted with no revision. Yang kedua, accepted with minor revision. Yang ketiga, accepted with major revision. Yang keempat, rejected. Jadi yang pertama diterima tanpa perbaikan, diterima dengan sedikit perbaikan, diterima dengan perbaikan yang banyak, dan yang keempat ditolak. Nah, selama yang dipilih itu adalah poin 1, 2, ataupun 3, maka penulis harus bahagia. Tinggal bagaimana memanage revisionnya itu. Sekalipun itu major. Walaupun itu major, artinya si reviewer dan editor merasa ini masih mungkin untuk diperbaiki dan masih mungkin untuk dimuat di jurnal kita. Hanya saja banyak hal yang harus diperbaiki. Mungkin datanya harus dilengkapi, mungkin teorinya harus dilengkapi, mungkin struktur tulisannya harus diubah, mungkin ada hal yang harus ditambah. Jadi ada banyak hal yang harus diperbaiki. Dan terkadang, Bu, review itu tidak sekali, bisa ada second round review. Jadi biasanya kalau revisinya major, itu akan diminta direview lagi tuh oleh reviewer. Tapi kalau minor biasanya cukup oleh editor. Tapi kalau major revision, nanti editor akan kirim lagi ke reviewer. Ini sudah direvisi, kira-kira sudah layak atau belum. Kalau reviewer mengatakan ini mayoritas sudah diperbaiki, tapi ada sedikit perubahan yang masih diperlukan. Balik lagi ke penulis, revisi kedua, nggak masalah. Jadi penulis itu bisa melakukan 3 kali revisi. Pertama, ketika direview oleh editor, editor bilang ini bahasanya masih belum bahasa akademik, tolong perbaiki menjadi bahasa akademik, perbaiki. Atau editor mengatakan ini skopnya masih kurang aspek pendidikannya, tambahkan aspek pendidikan, tambahkan. Nanti dari editor sudah balik, baru ke reviewer, review disampaikan ke penulis, penulis perbaiki, editor review lagi, kalau editor bilang oke, maka langsung publish, accepted for publication. Kalau tidak, maka harus ada review lagi. Sampai terakhir nanti akan ada respon dari editor bahwa artikel Anda telah diterima untuk dipublikasi. Accepted for publication. Nah, kadang-kadang kita menemukan juga ada penulis yang, maaf ya, culas. Jadi dia terima review dari editor, dia terima review dari reviewer, tapi nggak lakukan perubahan apa-apa. Seminggu kemudian disabit lagi barang yang sama. Berharap reviewernya atau editornya lupa. Dia paling dia nggak baca lagi, nanti dilihat lagi. Pasti baca, kok nggak ada perubahan. Ya itu hati-hati kalau begitu, bisa editornya merasa udah nggak usah, masih bisa di blacklist sama editor. Tapi saya garis bawahi tadi, selama direspon oleh editor bahwa artikel Anda layak untuk publikasi dengan mayor atau minor revision, maka kita harus terima dan lakukan perbaikan sesuai dengan catatan dari reviewer dan editor. Makasih Pak Rafiq.
Oke, mungkin ada yang ingin disampaikan Bu Dina, mungkin terkait dengan yang EduSen, apa yang disampaikan oleh Bu Lamha tadi. Monggo, Bu
Sama,
Dina.
sama Pak dalam pemrosesan jurnal, kalau misalnya dalam pemrosesan jurnal sebagian besar sama ya. Apa namanya? Tapi paling tadi ya yang pertama poinnya Bu Lamha mungkin lebih bukan lebih peka, lebih perhatikan di author guideline masing-masing jurnal karena tadi ya sudah disampaikan bahwa setiap jurnal memiliki gaya selingkung yang berbeda-beda. Kalau misalnya tadi di EduScience minimal itu 3.000 kata, 3.000 sampai 5.000 kata gitu ya. Bisa jadi di jurnal lain berbeda seperti itu. Nah, jadi hal-hal yang teknis seperti eh itu bisa juga membuat artikel Bapak Ibu diterima atau ditolak seperti itu. Nah, tapi tadi kan Pak Zudi sudah bilang ya bahwa jurnal juga nggak sekaku itu, nggak serigid itu. Pasti ada fleksibilitas-fleksibilitas yang eh, dimiliki oleh setiap jurnal. Nah, itu bergantung pada bagaimana tim redaktur jurnal atau bagaimana autor juga pada saat submit berpikirnya jangan submit aja dulu gitu ya nanti juga dikasih tahu perbaikannya gitu ya. Nah itu juga jangan seperti itu karena kalau misalnya benar-benar tidak menyesuaikan gaya selingkungnya dengan jurnal yang dituju itu jangankan dibaca gitu ya dari penulisan
Iya, iya.
ngikutin template atau enggak aja tuh kami udah ini nggak ngikutin template udah nggak apa-apa udah ditolak aja padahal belum tentu substansinya tuh tidak sesuai scope barangkali scope-nya apa substansinya itu bagus gitu tapi karena tidak mengikuti aturan awal aturan dasar di mana kita kan punya template gitu ya sebaiknya author mengikuti template seperti itu ya. Nah, jadi gitu. Jadi apa namanya? Aturan dasar atau minimum barrier-nya tuh dilakuin dulu gitu. Nanti baru kami baca, kami lihat, tim redaktur lihat ada perbaikan di mana baru kita bisa korespondensi, bisa tektokan agar proses korespondensi berjalan lancar. Dan tadi betul juga ya, ya saya juga tadi nggak ngeh ya dikembalikan kan bisa jadi dua persepsi ya. Maksudnya dikembalikan dengan saran-saran untuk diperbaiki itu biasanya apa itikat redaktur tuh udah ke arah yang baik gitu bahwa oh ini artikel atau manuskripnya potensial untuk diterbitkan seperti itu. Dan kemungkinan besar akan diterima jika autornya yaitu kooperatif. Barangkali begitu Pak Ainur Rafiq.
Oke, terima kasih untuk Profesor Juti dan Bu Dina yang telah menyampaikan materinya sekaligus juga diskusi. Kita waktunya sudah di jam 11.30. Kami mengucapkan terima kasih yang sebesarnya kepada para narasumber dan juga para peserta. Untuk itu, waktu kami kembalikan kepada Master of Ceremony. Monggo, dipersilakan. Jadi saya cukup sekian. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much our speaker today, Professor Zuhdi and Budina, for presenting the insightful material for today, and also to Bapak Ainur Rafiq for leading the discussion. Thank you very much. Please give applause to our speakers and also moderators today. Okay, Bapak Ibu, it is just a reminder for all the participants that please fill in the attendance list for today's event. The link has been available in the chat room. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, now we would like to give a token of appreciation to Professor Muhammad Zuhdi, PhD, and to Ibu Dina Rahma Fadil, MSc. Therefore, we invite the head of the committee, Ibu Desma Liza, to give the token appreciation for the speaker and also the moderator. Yeah, we start with Prof. Zudi.
Oh, where's the certificate? Okay. Okay, thank you so much for giving the insightful information, Prof. Muhammad Zuhdi, MED, PhD. On behalf of the Pre-ICEMS committee, we would like to give you this certificate. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay, and we
Thank you.
continue to Budina Rahma Fadila, MSc.
Okay. For Ms. Dina Rahma Fadila, we also want to thank you so much for giving the presentations. And on behalf of the Pre-ICEMS committee, we would like to give you this certificate. Thank you so much, Ms. Dina.
Thank you, committee. Thank you, Ms. Zaza,
Thank you so
for
much.
the
Okay.
opportunity for me.
Yeah, thank you, Ibu. Okay, so the last for our moderator today, Bapak Ainur Rafiq.
Reading the meeting.
Okay, thank you so much, our speakers today. Okay, Bu Desmalisa, and this is for Bapak Ainur Rafiq.
Okay, we also would like to thank so much for Pak Ainur Rafiq for leading the sessions.
Thank
So it
you
ran
very
very well
much.
today. Thank you so much, Pak.
Okay, thank you everyone. So ladies and gentlemen, to conclude the first day of the pre-ICEM 2025, so please make sure to join us again tomorrow for day 2 of the pre-ICEM 2025, and we will continue our discussion and also our session with other speakers. Thank you very much, everyone. See you tomorrow and have a nice day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi
warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh. Bye. See you
wabarakatuh.
tomorrow, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you, Bu Desma.
Thank you, Bu
You're
Desma.
welcome,
Thank you, Miss
Prof. See
Haryanti.
Terima
you.
kasih semua.
Bye.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, everyone.
So many reactions, yeah.
In live